Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the West Ham Review. Hope you've had a warm evening rather than the cold day like it has been.
I've got bloody heating on, mate.
I'm not surprised, mate. It is absolutely blitz out there at the moment, as they say. How are you, Budge? Anyway, you keeping well, mate?
I'm all right, bud. Yeah. As you can see, I'm trying to keep on. Got the old Star Wars dressing gown on, like, you know.
I was going to say, there's the Emperor I've got to think of there.
Yeah. I feel like one of the Sith Lords or something, you know. But yeah, I'm fine. So I'm just cold, mate. Cold and knackered from work today. What about yourself?
Yeah, been busy, mate. I mean, we've had a day of a load of people stepping up on a skills program, so they're all learning my role basically.
All right.
So that was quite interesting, getting them over there. Yeah, well, not to replace me, put it that way.
All right.
Replace me. They're just there to help out when needed, basically. You know. So
that's what they tell you now.
yeah, of course, you know that old chestnut. Yeah.
We want you to teach this robot how to do your job.
It's very true, mate. Very true. Well, as we put on the bottom there, the Premier League finally returns after a hiatus. And the good thing about it, international break, not until March. So,
yeah. And, you know, I mean, all right, okay, none of us like this international break. But as West Ham fans, we got to be proud of Jared Bowen's achievement in the last game. You know, He actually finally gets his England goal, something he's dreamed of since he was a boy. Brilliant.
Yeah, no, it was a well-taken goal as well. So,
yeah, gosh, yeah. It was a world-class goal, in my opinion. You know, from all involved, you know.
Yeah.
Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane. You know, it was a really well-taken, well-planned goal. I mean, he walks onto the pitch and his first touch was that.
Well, apparently he was going to be taking the corner, but it seemed like the lads had a different idea. And
yeah, and he just walks on and pops it away like that. I mean, that's the mark of a decent player, when you can just walk on and do something like that, you know.
Yeah, I think it probably do his confidence a world of good as well.
Oh God, yeah, and ours as well. You know, as supporters of West Ham, you know, I feel a little bit more confident now that he'll show up on Sunday.
Yeah, Monday.
I feel a little bit more confident now that he's going to show up. You know.
Yeah, I agree on that.
There's only 21 other players we got to be sure of, but you know, at least we know Bowen's going to be there.
One positivity hopefully spreads through like wildfire. So
and he's the captain, so you know he'll be getting plenty of plaudits for that.
Yeah.
During the week and that.
Well, let's say to the people in the chat, as always, it was good to have them with us. Big up to Michael, Chelsea, FC, Footy, F1, MotoGP. That's a bit of a mouthful now, but big up Tony and Budgie and everyone in the chat. Got a new name and cover. Did you get my Premier League predictions this weekend? I did indeed. Thank you, Michael, for that. Appreciate it. Thank you, mate. And good luck with the new name on the title.
Yeah, mate. Good luck.
Howard, good to see you. Tony, Budgie, gentlemen, good evening, and good evening to you as well.
Good evening, Howard.
Big up to AFC always. That's Budgie. Tony and Budgie. Big up to yourself, mate. And big up to Matt. They're all saying that in the chat.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, you're right there, Michael. Chelsea, Newcastle away is not going to be an easy game.
Oh no, not for anybody this season, I don't think. But least of all for us at the moment. We've been pretty shocking, you know.
Yeah, and to travel all the way up to there as well, Newcastle on a Monday night, that can't be fun. And it's what we're going to get out of it. Are we going to get anything out of it? That's the question.
Chances are we probably won't. But let's not go down like a sinking ship. Let's go down like a battleship, you know.
Yeah, at least
the way down. What I mean by that is on Monday night. I'm not talking about the rest of the season.
Yeah, just for the game. Yeah,
you know, if we're going to get beaten, let's get beaten, but not royally. You know, let's give them a bit of a show, and give them a game. You know, that's what we ultimately want, because I don't think any of us are confident that we're going to win.
No, No, I think you're right. All we want to see is them put a performance in, even if we lose. As long as you know they give it a go,
Yeah.
you know, be happy with that.
I mean, it's at times like this, Tony, when I believe that we need players like Pablo Fornals and Lanzini. They're the players that I feel now that we could really, really use and rely on, because we know Pablo wears his heart on his sleeve and his sleeves claret and blue. We know that. No matter where he's playing, we know he's got a love for this club. And if he was here, he would be fighting tooth and nail for every single point.
Yeah, totally agree on that.
And I think Lanzini would do too, because Lanzini had a great spell with us,
Yeah, players like that, shame we haven't kind of replaced them like for like, but
yeah.
Remember the good times. Evening, Colin, hope you're well. Yeah, sound like we Chava as well. Big up to Aguna Matata. Yeah, big up the Irons. Big up to yourself, mate, as well. Matt's saying, I have a feeling that Loppy might have a plan for the Geordies. Let's hope so.
Not turn up. Sorry, but look, I'm not a defeatist by any stretch. I mean, I'm still hoping that Maxwell Cornet can do something. Even though he's not with us at the moment, I'm still hoping he can do something, and just so that I can go, my faith in him has been, valued, as it were.
Yeah.
But look, Lopetegui, he gets my support because he's West Ham's coach. I don't have an awful lot of faith in him or the results that we can get out of him. But while he's here, I'm not going to be calling for his head.
No.
Just
we'll cover that shortly in a minute. Good evening, Mama Flossie. Happy keeping well. Evening, Tont and Budgie.
Good evening, Mama. Lovely to see you as always.
Absolutely. And we've got Mama Flossie, the nicest Geordie on YouTube that I know. Yeah, that's very true. They're all saying hello, which is nice. I always like that. Saying it as it is.
If anybody else out there who has got channels, if you're operating without a moderator, which is perfectly fine, if you did consider having a moderator, Mama Flossie is a brilliant role model for moderating on this platform. She is so good. She's on the ball. No matter who's talking, if you've got guests and that, Tony, you know better than I.
Yeah.
She's the first one to whack the links to their channels up, etc., etc. She's a great role model, to model yourself on for moderating. I think she's brilliant at the job, mate. And I know
she is
quite a few. Even Happy Amaret, I've known her for like 5-6 years now. And she's a great moderator. But, I think Mama Flossie just, she hits that treble 20 every time, doesn't she?
Absolutely. Yeah. Can't agree more than that.
Yeah. Sorry, changing something.
No, it's true because she is. I mean, I think YouTube think very highly of you. I mean, we do, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Even with the Monday game coming up as well, we still appreciate her as always. But yeah, definitely, she's she's the best. Matt saying my faith in JFL is dwindling. He's got a lot to prove, isn't he? That's the thing. Let's just catch up on here. What's that one there? Look, here they come. Boy Herbert. cover Camellia up there. Brilliant. That's superb.
Relentless.
Yeah. Caught his face with the right pose there as well. Brilliant. Big up to my co-host, obviously, Anthony Herbert. Big up, lads. Question, when is Budgie's new show coming to YouTube? Cooking with Budgie.
Mate, there's been speak about it. I might as well do it one day, mightn't I? Just for a giggle, I might as well one day. I'll record something.
That's true, isn't it? When's Tractor Driving with Anthony coming? Brilliant. Howard saying 50 tripe recipes from the past. Oh, tripe. Jeez.
God. Oh, no. Just bear with me a second. I'm just going to take this bloody thing off. I'm
just going to catch up with the chat anyway. Good evening, Tony and Budgie, you lovely gentlemen. Thank you much, Colin. Appreciate that. And the same with yourself as always.
All the lawyers are in.
How are we doing, Terence? Hope you're keeping well, mate. Good to see you in here as always. We bought players, don't play them. A new manager who nicks names should be hashtag confused. We've got class. It's just not translated onto the pitch. Big up Mama Flossie. And this is, I think, something we've alluded to quite often. This manager at the moment just doesn't seem to know what team he's going to play.
Yeah. I mean, that isn't sort of like 100% of the problem. You know, that's kind of, I don't know, 60% of our problem is that he hasn't got a clue who he's got, what he's got, how to play them, where to play them, and when to play them. Yeah, I know that kind of sounds a little bit harsh, but it is, you know, that's how we see it as fans, you know. You know, I'm not being funny now, but with the players like, you know, Wan-Bissaka, Emerson, Tadibo, Kilman, what a back four that is. Yeah. And then, you know, we're having to use what's his name at the moment because of Alvarez being hot-headed. But when Alvarez is available, what a player he is, and we're hearing stories that he's not happy, which is a bit of a, you know, a worry. Rodriguez is saying that he's not happy here, and you know we've kind of seen that in some of his performances. You know, but this manager, he called some of these players in himself, and if he isn't able to, this head coach, if he's not able to get a tune out of them, there's got to be something wrong. And these are players that he's more or less selected himself. I mean, we're crediting Tim Stuyton with a lot of the transfers and that. He's only identifying players. That's his job. He identifies players.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And some of the responsibility has to be borne by the board as well, because you know he presents what he's got to them. Loppy or the coach is telling them what he needs, and they're going, well, look, there's a cheap option, there's a cheaper option, there's an option where we can get away with paying next year. Do you know what I mean? And that seems to have been, you know, the bullet points that we've got our recruitment on. I mean, people were saying that we had the best window in Premier League in the last summer window. And we did have a great window. We brought in some really terrific players. But we also brought in a few donkeys as well, you know.
Yeah, that's
true. It wasn't as great a window as we all believed.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, obviously, I'm going to come on to this one. I mean, obviously, big up to Brian CFC. Good to see you, mate. Big up to Doors Football TV and chat as always. And Charlotte Collins saying good evening. And obviously, good evening to Lawrence. Evening from Lexington, Kentucky, coming your irons. Good to see you, mate. But this one I want to just kind of bring into there is we hear this rumour of this. Bit of a mixed one. Rodriguez and Full Crew apparently want to leave as well. Rodriguez apparently is kind of unsettled and wants to go back to Real Betis by all accounts.
Yeah, but that's all right. We'll just do a swap with Fornals. We'll have him back, wouldn't we?
That'd be a nice one, yeah. I think most people will have that one back.
I think most people would. I mean, there's a man that plays for the shirt, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You know, he really does truly play for the shirt. You know.
But what do you think about this Full Crew one, though? Do you think there's any kind of...
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, rumours and reports are that he's ready to play again now. Maybe not a full 90 minutes, but he's ready to play. Although his Achilles tendon still is a area of concern to the medical staff. You know, that's like saying, well, we've got a blind goalkeeper, but we're going to put him in because he's winning.
No, that's true.
It's not the best news I've had this week. I've got to be honest.
No.
I'd like him to come back 100%, be able to start and finish the game every week. That's what we want from him, and for him to be available every week. At this rate, if they're bringing a man in that's 80%, 90% fit, with concern for his Achilles tendon, what is he going to, realistically, what is he going to offer the team?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, he could come on, and in the first 10 minutes of the game, he could it can go again, and then that's him done with. I mean, yeah, like you said, I've heard apparently it's the Arsenal game he's supposed to be kind of back for, he's or hoping to be back for. But if he's not fully fit, are we going to risk putting him on, or like you said, is he going to come on later in the game just to see what he can do?
Yeah, I mean that would be the thing. I'm pretty sure that Lopetegui's not completely stupid, and that he would probably go, well, look, okay, I'll use you for 20 minutes max in the second half, or 15 minutes or whatever. We'll just see how your fitness is and whether you're sharp or not. And if not, we'll just keep continuing to do that until you pick up your sharpness and your fitness. That's the way to go, isn't it? Easing in. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Lopetegui will ease him in. If he's anything like David Moyes was, then don't expect to see him start a game until probably February.
That's true. That's very true. Big up to McManus Gaming there. Big up Tony Panel on the chat. Smash the likes, people, and subscribe to the channel. And obviously Green Street Elites, obviously to McManus' channel, and obviously Michael Chelsea FC as well. Make sure we support each other as we all would like to do in this community. Yeah, saying hello in there. Anthony's on one, and look, Budgie, I've seen that mirror and bargain hunt.
Yeah, well, at least we're not getting a bloody annoying beep from my house.
That's true. Oh, he was all right last night. It was very few and far between the beeps. He's managed to find a new battery. He actually broke into a fiver and actually kind of bought a decent battery.
Didn't get arrested, did he?
Possibly. Michael saying this is the most crucial point of the season now. There's only 7 points between Chelsea in third and West Ham in 14th. A few results can change everything. And this is the thing, the table is that tight at the moment.
It is. I mean, to be fair, we are a quarter of the way through the league. Just over a quarter of the way. Maybe coming up to a third of the way now. But, we've still got 2/3 of the season to go. And that's, a promising factor for me. If we keep seeing what we've been seeing for the first third of the season, then it's a worry, of course. But, what we actually don't want is we don't want a complete collapse of, performance and morale and drive and whatever, because because of the coach that's in play, or B, because of losing the coach that's in place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is where we as West Ham United, as a club, this is where we've got to be careful. Not careful what you wish for, but careful with how we proceed. This is a bit of a minefield at the moment. We've got a coach in place that not many people are very happy with. The results are shocking. Our league position is shocking at this stage. Do you realise 2 seasons ago we were third at this stage of the season?
That says it all.
Right, it was only for 24 hours, Tony, and we went down to 4th. But at this point of the season, 10 games, 11 games in, on one particular week, we were third. We beat, I think it was Newcastle, wasn't it? 4-2.
Yeah.
And we were third in the league on that day for about 24 hours, But, it's a massive, massive difference to where we are now. And yes, we are having a season of transition. But hey, come on, we've got quite a lot of people in the frame. I'm talking about in the team and stuff, who are the same people that were here last season and the season before.
No, it's true. I mean, funny if you say that. I mean, the one that's kind of I don't know if he's striking a chord with you, but we've seen him come on a couple of times, and he looks pretty sharp, even for his age, and that's Danny Ings.
Yeah, mate, young Danny Ings.
So when you look at something like that,
because I'm probably twice his age.
But do you think he gets given the chance to start?
Look, Tony, I personally would, because he's been showing on every opportunity that he's had, he's been showing that he's been doing a lot of work on his game, a lot of work on his fitness. His age doesn't seem to be too much of an issue to him. He's still getting himself around. Oh my God. But yeah, I think Danny Ings has actually stuck his name into the conversation. Definitely. It has to be in, doesn't it?
It's got to be, isn't it? I mean, we know that obviously Antonio is not firing. Fulkrug is nowhere near it. So really, he's our consider next best option.
We've got no kudos, so you can't be assuming that Bowen can play centrally. Because if you do, who do we have out on the right? I suppose the argument for that could be Lewis Guilherme. But having said that, against Arsenal or Newcastle, I'm pretty sure he'd be exposed for for the lack of experience that he has got. I mean, the boy's 19 years old, so we don't want to crucify him or throw him out to the cats, as it were.
No, because we know Newcastle can be quite physical, can't they? So
yeah, it's going to be, especially down their left side, because they know that. Well, I know that they're quite strong down their left-hand side, and they always have been. They've always had a strong left.
True.
And they've got quick players on their right as well, which, unfortunately, if Aaron Creswell was to play, he wouldn't be able to get up the field too much, because he wouldn't be able to get back in time for the speed of the players they've got out on the right. Anthony Gordon, he played left or right, didn't he?
Yeah, he's versatile in that respect.
He frightens the life out of me when he's running at a defence, because similarly to that Cole Palmer and Jared Bowen and the likes of Saka, these are players, when they run at a defence, there's always a good chance that something good's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree on that. Anthea Herpentegger has got a question for us. Name 2 of your favourite players from anywhere around the world and from any point in time. Thanks, boys. You're both dolls.
Thanks, Anthea. You look fit, by the way, mate. 2 players from anywhere in the world at any point in time. Oh, well, I'd have to go with Pele and Bobby Moore.
Oh, what a great shout! Yeah, I mean, Moore's there for me basically, and Cruyff, Johan Cruyff.
Oh, Johan Cruyff, yeah. Oh, what a player he was! What a player!
Yeah, absolutely. 504 subs now, smashing it, mate. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much for keeping that.
404 now, Tom.
Yes, mate. Yeah. Yesterday.
Congratulations, mate. I wish I had party poppers and stuff.
Yeah. No, thank
Man,
you, mate. Yeah.
brilliant landmark, mate. Well done.
No, appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that. And people like you in there, and obviously the chat have helped us get there. And we really appreciate it always. Look at Anthony. Look, going 2-0 Newcastle.
And that's probably a fair shout as well, Anthony.
Yeah. No, it's just because it's Anthony Budge. That's what it is. It's Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I think we will score. I think it will be 2-1. I said this last night on my show. I think it will be 2-1. I think we will score, and I, feel it will be Bowen or Souček that gets it as well.
Yeah, of course. Good evening, Rob. Hope you're keeping well. Evening, gents.
Good evening, Rob.
My good old friend and my number one goalkeeper. I will still say to this day, even though it embarrasses him sometimes, my number one goalkeeper. Legend. Absolute legend.
Rob?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Goalkeeper.
Yeah, legend. Matt saying, I think Rodriguez will leave before fuck rug. Yeah, it seems that could be the case. I think maybe we're looking to offload him in the January window, because that would be very interesting if we do that. Yeah. But I think Real British, they need to offload a player or players before they can bring him back in.
Well, that's all right. That's fine. Well, just Fornals back.
That's it, yeah. That's one player.
And we'll give you £1 million and all. A little bit of walking money to go with it. I love Fornals back. I really
know,
would.
Mate.
Good evening, James.
Yep, and everyone in the chat, good evening to you as well. I think that's fair to Anthony. Yeah, we do indeed, Mama. Possibly, Michael. Possibly. It's all the rumour mill as always. They love doing that to us.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility, mate, because look at Scamacca,
Yeah.
We were expecting him to go in the first window. He didn't. He went in the very next window, but we didn't get a lot out of Scamacca, and we're not getting much out of him either. So,
for me, I always put that down to Moyes playing that one up top, where when you look at Haller and Scamacca, they don't thrive off playing up on top on their own. They need to have someone with them, and I think we missed out on that.
Yes, we did indeed.
Lawrence is saying, if Rodriguez doesn't want to be here, don't get the door, hit him in the arse. Good shout, Budgie. Bring back Fornals. We'll play after the badge. Yeah, we'll have a player that does that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just claret and blue rose tinted glasses that I'm saying that. What I'm saying that for is because, yes, he was eased out of the side because we did have Paqueta. And, to be fair, he was challenging Paqueta for position. That's not easy to do, right? No. But now, if we brought him back and we stuck him in the middle there with Alvarez as like a 6 or an 8, which I think, Fornals is perfectly capable of playing either of those positions.
Yeah.
I think if we stuck him in there with Alvarez, providing we can get out. In fact, I think he would help to calm Alvarez down because he's got that kind of demeanour about him. And I just think that it would work. I mean, we know what he's like with them early balls as well. Look at the amount of times. Similarly to the through ball that Paqueta put on the Bowen for us to win against Fiorentina. Similar the balls to that were, bread and butter to Fornals for seasons.
Yes.
For seasons he was doing that. And getting on the opposite end of them as well, when the likes of Declan or Thomas Souček was putting the ball through him. So I think he would. I think he would work very hard for the badge.
It'd be nice to have him back. Would be nice. I mean, love what Aaron's put here. On my deathbed, let my children know I loved them with all my heart, and I really saw a full crew playing a West Ham shirt. Absolutely, Lawrence. Yeah, we want players to play hard and play for the badge. That's what
Yeah.
Rare commodity these days.
Mm-hmm.
Evening Richo and that, and as we all know, it's going to be his birthday tomorrow, 66, and
Good
obviously
evening, Richo.
going to be retiring as well. Lucky so and so.
Yeah.
They're all saying hello and that. Yes, Lawrence, thanks very much. Over 500 subscribers, outstanding. I've been busy and missed a few shows. Congratulations. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Colin saying, gentlemen, I've heard today that top of the list of coaches that are going to be interviewed by Steiden are Schmidt, Honis, Terzic, Areola. There are 4 that he's going to talk to, and names are not on it. That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah. Areola, he was the Fiorentina manager, if I remember rightly, wasn't he? When we played Spain.
And then also say now at the Bournemouth now and doing a good job.
Oh, right, yeah. He's at Bournemouth.
Yeah, Areola, yeah. This is the one who's got the plasters on his fingers. But yeah. Terzic.
Well,
I don't know. What do you think about Terzic?
Well, I was kind of sold on him being a progressive manager and this and that. And then last night I learned from 2 or 3 people in the chat that he is pragmatic, not progressive. And he doesn't play the kind of football that would suit the players that we have. And similarly to David Moyes, he would be playing players out of position to suit his tactics, etc. So I'm not sold on him at all.
Yeah.
Iraola, I would definitely be interested in because I thought he was really good. I thought Fiorentina were very good against us on the day. It could have gone either way, as we know. If we're honest about it, we didn't dominate that game.
True.
They didn't lead up, but they did have a greater possession stat.
Yeah.
And I think that's because we played that way, didn't we, in the game? We allowed them to have the possession.
Yeah, we sat back quite a lot in that one, didn't we?
We did. But, with the ball, I thought they were very good. And the way he used these players. That Bonaventura, the one that scored their goal, I believe he was their captain as well. He played brilliantly, I thought, and I thought his tactics were right on the night. Unfortunate for them that we managed to get that last goal.
I mean, I don't know.
Being perfectly honest about the game. But yeah.
Do you know much about Smith? I don't know much about Smith, but
I don't know a lot about him at all. In fact, this is only the second time I've heard his name being linked with us. But Honis I know a little bit about. Not very much. But I've heard that he's a classic Dutch-style manager. The type of manager that likes to have a solid back 4, a floating midfield, and, a determined and very direct front line. That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
That suits me.
Right, let me just get the
Southgate's 3-1.
Please don't mention Southgate.
I would not even put him on the list. And then there was all that bloody nonsense about Paul Pogba.
That one as well, mate.
What the hell is that all about? We haven't got Harry Redknapp at the reins anymore. We ain't going to have a manager or coach that is going to be able to handle a character like Paul Pogba in Lopetegui or whatever. He's just not going to be able to. And to be fair, 37 now, 36 or whatever. What is he? He's in his 30s anyway.
Yeah.
His time in the Premier League, I don't think he'd cut it.
No.
I really don't.
No.
I think it's all about him and not the team with him.
Yeah, until March anyway.
No.
He's banned,
Yeah,
banned
he's on a
anyway.
ban, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on a ban, yeah. I like this comment from Howard. There's only really 22 subs, Larry. The rest are all moody, fuzzy accounts. I love you, Howard. Yeah, that was Anthony with a wiggle. Yeah, Matt saying obviously I don't think Lopetegui kind of fancied Gilherme.
Probably not. But then, you know, we bought him with an eye on the future, not really the present. And maybe Lopetegui's just taken that to, you know, to his head and gone, right, well, he's a player for the future. Why would I need to use him now? You know.
Of course.
Good
evening, James. How are you, mate?
All right, mate. How is everyone? Everyone well?
Yeah, good. It's your turn to do cooking with E20 now, is it?
Yeah, that's my new trade.
You're not nicking my bloody show. Don't you be recording this? Excellent.
Christmas.
Are you good though, mate?
No, well, I'm waiting for Sam to come and look up a bit of a Chinese style dish, so to speak. So it'd be nice. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Excellent.
Nice.
What's occurring?
Well, we're obviously just talking about the Premier League's coming back, and at least we know we're going to have a decent weekend because we know we're not going to lose or win at that stage. But of course, Monday we've got Newcastle coming up, and then we've covered about the likes of obviously Rodriguez, possibly Fulkrug with the rumours. Obviously, they want to leave. And Danny Ings looking pretty fit compared to the other two.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Monday night, it's one of them drilling games, isn't it? We don't know what we're going to get. Do you know what I mean?
Nah.
Yeah. And the thing is, we're going to lose 1-0 or we're going to get hammered. Do you know what I mean? And that's the problem at the end of the day. I've said it earlier on. I think we just got to brace ourselves for whatever happens in the next two, and then hopefully we can get through the next two. Like, if we can play decent, this is a start. But do you know what I mean? I'm dreading the worst next two, mate, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think we all do, to be fair, James, you know. And, one of the things that I'm hoping for is that we don't just roll over and let them take us, you know, freely. You know, I want us to at least put up some kind of fight, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you see a Spurs-like performance, then you're gonna, it's gonna be hard, isn't it? Just be honest. Because now West Ham, we'll probably turn up, be hard to beat in the first half, and in the second half, it will be the one. But I don't know. Like, people are mixed at the minute. People are flat, and we need to see something. And what I can't understand is if you're going to give him 2 games, why didn't you let him go and then bring a new manager in to sort of use these 2 games as a platform? Because I'm not being funny, these 2 games are big games for West Ham in the season. So, you know, it's mad.
That's true. Good evening or good morning, afternoon for Kieran. Make it 503. I've just unsubscribed. Good day, chaps. Good day to you as well, matey. Thanks much, mate.
Miserable old bastard. James, got a question for you. Earlier on, one of the people in the chat stuck a question in for us to answer. If you could pick any 2 players from anywhere in the world in any generation, you know, just 2 players, who would you pick?
What? Current playing or previous?
No, from any
time frame.
Ronaldinho straight away. I think he'd be a great player. And I'm going to be honest, Maldini would be a good one.
Oh, that's a good shout.
Do you know what I mean? Ronaldinho for the flair. West Ham love flair players, and Maldini's just a proper general, isn't he? And one of the best defenders to ever sort of lace the boots up. So probably them 2, man. For me.
Yeah, nice.
Great shout.
I'll go for some veterans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I went to Bobby Moore and Pele.
Yeah, I think it's more to do with the fact that I watched them. I think obviously different generations. Like Maldini, I remember what was it, Italian football on Channel 4 on a Sunday. Do you remember that? It was like,
bloody hell, yeah.
You know what I mean? But so I like to see Maldini on the regular. Do you know what I mean? And obviously Ronaldinho is just a special player.
Brilliant. I don't know if you've seen any of these, James. These things that come in here. Look, Wurzel Herbert and Aunt Budgie. How many players do Hammers need to challenge for a top 4, and what kind of budget?
Really good question. And to be fair, for me, I think we need to probably out 4 players and bring in 6. And that's definitely at least one top striker and maybe like a substitute for him. So definitely a top striker. But the 4 I think that need to go is Rodriguez. I think he's got to go. I think for the sake of the club, I think we need to replace Alvarez. As much as I love him and as great a player as I think he is, I still think that he could be a liability to the club. He's just so hot-headed and getting so many cards and bans. You know, the club doesn't need that. We need him to be on the pitch performing week in, week out. You know, I think we need to replace Soufal. As good as he's been and as good as he still can be, I think we need younger legs in that position. And I think we need backup for Emerson out on the left there as well. Can't rely on a 32-year-old bloke, 33-year-old bloke to perform week in, week out for, 46 weeks of the year or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, a great comment here from me and good evening for you being in here, Ian. If more people at the club had Fornals attitude and appetite for the game, we'd be in a much better place. That's quite a good comment. I mean, James, I know you and Jay mentioned it, I think, on the E20 when you're saying about, our midfield is virtually non-existent at the moment. You can literally walk through the centre of it, not in if there was a player there.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know. It's just a mess, isn't it? You know what I mean? Just to go back to a year ago when we were doing all right to a point, had a few iffy results, and then look at us now. We're all sitting there like dreading the game on Monday. I don't know. Listen, I don't know what to say really, Tony, if I'm honest. But I look at us right now. I know we're a mess. I don't know how we're going to get out of it. I don't know what makes it better. I really don't. Even with a change of manager, even though I want the manager out, the personnel at present is just not good enough in that middle of the park. Alvarez, Rodriguez, Soler. And it just feels like it's going nowhere at present, which is like, it's draining to a point. Like this with Moyes, and this is the thing where I hope people look back on it now and think, he actually done a good job in the end, is because like when you ask for change, it's okay asking for change, but you've got to match the change, and there's no guarantees of whether, even if we sack Loppy, that we're going to get someone better. Like, there's just none, is there? I mean, not with the owner in charge. So, I don't know. I really don't know. We could do with Pablo Fornals and them type of players. But do you know what? We've lost our identity, and it's quite shocking how it's gone in the space of, 5 months?
Yeah, so, that's shocking in itself. That statement in itself is just shocking, isn't it? When you put it that way, it really highlights it.
Yeah.
Rob's putting here 500 up, Tony. Well done. Almost as many players as you've managed. I've managed a few. James is saying Paqueta's form has dropped so much that he came in on the last 5 minutes in yesterday's game. Looks like even the Brazilian manager has lost faith in him, and and that's true.
Yeah.
Evening, Peter. Hope you're well, mate. Good to see you. Floppy should have gone after the Forest game. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we know, again, how true it is or not. Apparently, he's only got 2 games to prove himself. But if he doesn't get anything out of these next 2 games, will this board have the balls to actually, get rid of him?
You know what? I kind of remember a stage when we were hearing a lot of reports that Dave Moyes only had 2 games to save his position. And he ended up being with us for about 16 months after that. So I don't really listen too much to the, he's got this many games or that many games. I'm the kind of person that's got a little bit of patience in saying, I just got to deal with it as it is at the moment. And then when it changes, I'll change my attitude or change my approach to the way I support the club or whatever. I mean, at the moment, doing the YouTube stuff isn't exactly enthralling us. It's not, captivating the audiences because we're talking about, stuff that's really exciting and important and positive. There's a lot of negativity surrounding our club at the moment, and it shows on many of the channels. I'm guilty of it, but I think what we've got to look forward to is that inevitable change that's going to happen. It'll happen at some point, because I don't think that it's sustainable the way it is at the moment. And I think we've just got to be patient until then. That's just my opinion.
What do you make of that then, James?
I can't be patient, mate, because the problem is, I'll tell you the reason why, is because half the fan base wanted the ex-manager out last year and was moaning that they wanted this glorified West Ham and everything's going to be great and everything. So they got what they wished for, right? But what they didn't realise was they thought Stidham picked the manager, and he was never going to. He's always going to be Sullivan who picks the manager, and the problem is come back and bit them firmly on the arse, and now they've got to suffer it like the rest of us. I feel that this is only a matter of time. This is a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. And it's just how long it goes on for. I need to see a performance of something. Even if we lose a game, I can accept losing, but let's not go down and keep getting slapped by teams. I mean,
going up to Newcastle, losing 2-0, but having 11 shots on target through the game would be a reasonable return.
But we need to, I don't think I've seen an away performance this year, barring Palace, to a point where we've been really good. And even Palace, we weren't great in the first half.
No, we weren't.
Right. The problem is that that half the fan base wanted change, the other half was scared of the change, and then we've all met in the middle and said, well, this is not right.
Yeah.
If we've got 2 of the worst games coming up now, 2 teams that we just don't beat, and I just don't see how anyone can sort of look at this and say, well, if you carry it on now, if you take Loppy out right now, bring in a top end manager, right? Because it has to be top end, right? You can't keep going with a lesser manager because you're going to go nowhere. If you bring in a top end manager, you can still save this season. You can, honestly. If West Ham, for argument's sake, after the Arsenal game, if it didn't work out, right, you brought in a manager of quality, the Leicester, Wolves, Bournemouth, Brighton games, they are winnable games for us. And we're not a shit side. I think people think we're a shit side, but we're actually not. We're actually a good side with good players, but we've just got a manager or head coach that is trying to do something and learn a style of play in 6 months. Ain't going to work. It takes years to build up these sort of styles of play. Look at Pep Guardiola as an example. I know it's a bit of a mental example, but I'm going to try and use it, When he went into City, he bought 4 fullbacks because he knew that the style of play that he was trying to play, that's what he needed. Yeah. And at present, West Ham haven't got any players in that team who are really possession-based other than the 2 centre-halves, which is it's worrying to a point. The thing is with me, which worries me, is if we drop into that bottom 3, do we have the players who are really up for it and who can get in for a scrap? And the answer to that is probably not. I'll see about 4 players in that whole squad who can have a go. The rest of them,
we've got players that are very capable of playing
yeah,
to get results, but it's the mindset and the approach,
yeah.
you know. And we've got to say, James, you know, the coach is responsible for that mindset.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't think some of these players need to look at themselves though. I think some of them, like Lucas Paqueta, people were blaming Moyes last year, saying, "Oh, he's shit because of Moyes," and he's been shit this year. So, like, there's no excuse with Lucas Paqueta. I feel sorry for some of the new players. I do, because I feel like they're being hung out to dry to a point. Like, I look at Wan-Bissaka. Is Wan-Bissaka a bad player, or is he playing in a system that doesn't suit him? I think it's more the system than it is the player. So I think it's decent.
Agreed. I think Wan-Bissaka's been the outstanding player this season so far.
I would probably say Kilman for me. I think Kilman's been more consistent.
Great shout.
Yeah, I think he's been more consistent than all of them. But that tells you all you need to know, really, when we've got a centre-half who's our best player this year.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I mean, look, you know, Rob's put a good comment in here, which is kind of alluding to what you know both of them been saying. The problem is we don't have the players with the ability to play possession-based football. Right. We let the players that get the ball forward quickly, which enable us to play counter-attacking football. And this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, Moisey did that at least. And I know, obviously, the manager's got to come in and he's got to put his mark on the game. But you know, for well, you do your own work. If that was working last season, if it ain't broken, it don't need to be fixed.
But he done this 2 years ago, Tone, right, Moyes? And he tried to change the style of play for the fans, and the fans weren't happy, and he nearly got us relegated to a point. Yeah, and there were so many times in that 2 years ago on the lead up the 2022-23 season where he could have been sacked. He could have been sacked after the Leicester game before the World Cup. There was the Everton game at home where it was a must-win. If he didn't win that, he was out. He won that 2-0. With Lopetegui, this is his style of play that he's trying to play in front of us. This is what we're seeing. And the problem is, I don't think he's got another way of playing, mate. And that's a major concern. Like, has he got this way of playing where we can sit tight and try and hit teams on the counter? I don't think he knows how to, mate. And what he's done,
from what I've been seeing, like Lopetegui, he's making lots of substitutions. Okay, can't take that away from him. But the fact is, I don't think he's making substitutions to particularly change the direction of the game. I think he's kind of trying to do a like for like substitution, similarly to when David Moyes did make his sub. You know, it was never to change the approach or, you know, to change the way we're playing. It was always to just get fresh legs in that position. You know, and I think Lopetegui's doing exactly the same. You know,
the problem with Lopetegui is he's got the firepower on the bench to get him out of trouble. Whereas I'm going to be honest, like the only thing I've got gripes with Moyes with previous was there was players like the young, like Earthy, who he could have used in that season. Like, like when there was moments where we had no players and we're using Maxwell Cornet and things like that. I think use Earthy, But on this one, I think what it is with Lopetegui is he's trying to do it like learn on the job to a point. Like Nottingham Forest the other week, before the Everton game, that was embarrassing. Setting up like 5 at the back, and we finished 9th last year. Well, I know people say, "Oh, it's one of the worst seasons going," and all that, but this is bad. And this is the problem. This is a situation where we need to address this now rather than later. Like the January window's come in, and I'm going to be honest. My fear is if Lopetegui picks up one result in the next 3 games, his job's saved for Christmas.
Yeah, I agree on that one.
And that is, and the thing is, do I trust him to go to Bournemouth away and win? No. Do I trust him to beat Brighton at home? No. Southampton is a game where I expect West Ham to win, but do I feel confident that West Ham are going to go down to the South Coast and win? Absolutely not. And then we've got 2 of the biggest clubs in the Premier League at the back end of the year. Liverpool at home and Man City away. This Christmas period's big, and personally, I think it's a mistake that why they're doing it now. I don't understand why you'd give Loppy, who you don't believe in, 2 more games when you could have took him out, brought someone in who you do believe in, give him the Newcastle game as a free. Imagine a new manager against Arsenal at home. That is, it changes the course of the game. Everyone's up for it. The fan base is up for it. We're all dreading it next Saturday. Next Saturday, we are going to be shitting ourselves, thinking to ourselves, how many goals are going to be going in?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think at the moment Arsenal's a bit of it's a bit of a wounded beast at the moment, and they want to get back to winning ways. So it's the West Ham way. You know what we were like.
Yeah,
we'll open up the gates. I mean, like Peter's made a comment here. I'll go back to this one he put here. It's needing players to play now and to try to get up the table, not in 2 to 3 seasons' time, which is obviously it seems to be the kind of the business model I think the club's currently going at. But he's also said the next 3 games it's all losses.
I blame Sullivan for it, mate. I said it quite a lot on E20 last year.
Yeah,
I made it quite clear, and people say, "Oh, you're a Moyes lover," and all this shit. I said you can take Moyes out of the equation. He's an employee. Sullivan runs the show at the club, and until he's out the door, then we can prosper. The difference is that what Moyes done last year is he showed people that there is a way for West Ham to be in that elite top 10 in the Premier League. Yeah. He showed us all, now it's down to Sullivan to maintain it, and it just proves he ain't going to maintain it, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? My fear is you take Loppy out, even though I want him gone, who else are we going to get served up? Is it going to be Rafa Benitez? Is it going to be Jose Mourinho? Is it going to be like someone else who's got the CV but doesn't get it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, doesn't tick the boxes, as I say, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dino's offered me with a decent keeper for a change in the Iron Cruyff to put the shit up the defenders. Definitely on that. Peter's agreeing with what you just said there. We're poor all over the pitch. In fact, when we couldn't get Pac-Man money and when we gave Floppy the job, from that point onwards, it was downhill trend. Rob saying Alvarez is the new Moncur. Won't be long until the crowd start counting until he's booked. Yeah, he's getting that quite often there, isn't he?
Yeah.
That top 4 question is very hard to answer. I generally think we may not be far away, but the way we are being managed and owned means we don't know what this team are actually capable of. We're suffocating ourselves in that respect, haven't we? That's the worst thing about it, really. Peter's saying we can't score. We always look like we will concede when teams attack us, and the midfield is non-existent.
Yeah, pretty much. Early Chairman Sullivan Football TV.
Question for the panels. The 2 traitors top of the screen are such experts. Where is Loppy going wrong? What formation should we be playing with our current squad? And how should we be playing? Well,
what do you mean traitors?
Because obviously
we never liked you anyway, Sully. So we're not traitors. We're just haters, mate. Where's he going wrong? I think there's an arrogance about him that he doesn't warm to people very much. And when you're coaching or managing a group of entitled prima donnas, and let's be fair, that's what modern day professional footballers are. When you're, in charge of a group of players of that ilk, it's very difficult if you're not tough and on the ball with them. And I don't think he is. I don't think he's, I think he's got the wrong approach to the group of players that he's got, and of course to the media as well. I mean, I know he's got a language barrier, but there is a very huge chunk of arrogance and attitude about him in press conferences and things, So I think, changing his attitude would be half of the battle won. And the other half of the battle is finding out where the players are at their best. and not playing them where you want them.
It's being consistent though, Budgie. I think you can't keep changing it week in, week out. There's no consistency. There's no flow.
I get that, but playing, for example, Kudus out on the left when he's not in a comfortable position, playing Paqueta out on that left when he's not in a comfortable position, and he's got Somerville sitting on the bench who absolutely thrives there.
We was all screaming for that one, weren't we?
It doesn't make sense, Tony.
No.
It really doesn't. And, like for me, when David Moyes had a similar dilemma and he was using either Fornals or Ben Rama out on that left-hand side, I actually felt that Ben Rama coped with the job better than Fornals did. Because Fornals loves to drift into the middle more, whereas Ben Rama didn't mind hanging out on that line, And I felt more comfortable when Ben Rama was out there because I felt that he's very capable of getting the ball in with either foot. He can run at defences and this and that. Okay, his final ball did let him down a little bit, but I was just a lot more comfortable. Whereas I'm not comfortable when Paqueta's out there. I'm not comfortable when Kudus is out there. As great a player as either of them are, they're not in their prime position, and therefore they're not playing their best game.
No.
Do you know what? I just want to say this before I make a move, yeah? What Budgie was just saying about players out of position, it's going to be interesting to see what happens against Leicester when Mo's back, and then you got Somerville there, and basically he's going to have to make a decision then. If he drops Crescencio Somerville against Leicester for Mo and plays Mo on the left, he's asking for the sack. He was still here. Simple as that.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think you've got to, if you can't win these games, you just got to have to go out and try and fucking entertain the fans at least, or give the fans something. Like you're going to have to give the people who are travelling to Newcastle something.
Need some inspiration, don't we? That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think
and to be fair, wherever you look, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, all of them, anybody that's got anything to say about West Ham, there is a common theme in there always, and that is generally, play Kudus centrally or out on the right, play Somerville on the left, drop Paqueta if you have to for Kudus, just put Kudus on where Paqueta plays and drop Paqueta because Paqueta hasn't been cutting the cloth lately, and that's quite a common theme. I see that and hear that a lot, and I think, even though we're not paid to do the job and we're not actually affiliated with the club in any official way, we've got no status within the club or anything. I think that, like some managers actually did kind of listen to the fans a little bit, and they did kind of try and appease the fans in certain ways, like, look, for example, here's the biggest example of them all. That time when Harry Redknapp was playing and he had Lee Chapman up front, was it? Yeah, Lee Chapman up front. And that young fella out in the crowd went, I could do better than him, blah, blah, blah. And at half time, he told him to put his boots on and get his arse in a kit. And he did. He went out there and scored, right? But that was just an example of him listening to the crowd. Okay, that's an extreme example. But that is an example of a manager or coach listening to the supporters to see where we can see what they can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people.
I'm just going to say this quickly, yeah. Time, I'm going to have to make a move, but it's been a pleasure.
Thanks,
I'll
James.
catch up again with you soon, right? Take care, man.
Yeah. Take care, mate. Thanks for coming in.
He don't know about, do he?
No, he goes quicker than the lightning. Yeah.
I think next time we're going to have to change his name to No Long Goodbyes.
That's true. Peter saying here, saw someone that if Leicester sacked their manager, Moyes could replace him in time for a match against him. God, imagine that. Because obviously there was also, I mean, Moyes has been banned with most clubs. It was Southampton they was talking about as well with Moyes. But
yeah. Well, the thing is, right, look, David Moyes, we kind of view him as. At first, we were viewing him as a firefighter, but he proved he was just a bit more than that. He helped us to get a trophy, and more power to him for that, because he surprised a lot of us, And we went and won that trophy unbeaten throughout the whole of the tournament, group stages, etc. The worst result we had was a draw throughout the whole of that competition. And until we lost in the quarterfinal of the Europa League, we'd only had one defeat in the Europa League last season. And the season before the Conference League, I think our first defeat came in that semi-final.
Yes.
So, David Moyes actually gave us a lot more than just a trophy. He gave us really good unbeaten runs. We held the record for the longest unbeaten run in European competition by a British team until the following week when Man City took it and then have extended it. So, he gave us a lot more than we do credit him for. He gave the club stability. He gave us some wonderful moments in many different competitions, including, I might add, a 3-0 win against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup last year.
Yeah.
A 3-0 win.
Take that.
And that was off the back of a 2-1 win in the league.
Yeah,
and then we got a back win later on in the season.
Yeah, do that. Yeah. Colin's saying, gents, the next coach coming in now is not just going to be down to Sullivan, for I do know, because he made mistakes of getting this dickhead in. Kretinsky and Steidon are going to have a say now. Well, about time if that is going to be the case. Peter's just saying he's checked the tea leaves earlier and we'll be 2-0 down inside the first 10 minutes on Monday.
Thanks, Pete. I won't be watching it then.
Good evening, Russ. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Russ.
The way things are going, I would settle for 14th this season. Yeah, because I think most of us, I don't know if you was in that same frame of mind, Budgie, but looking at when we was hoodwinked with the players we put in the window, I thought we could be in the top 10. But looking at the moment, 14th is probably going to be more reasonable.
Yeah, more feasible. Even. Yeah.
Tiger fan extraction, proper Chelsea. Good evening to yourself as well. McMahon is saying, would you take Southgate? Not at all. That's an easy one.
I live in a neighbourhood called Southgate, but I wouldn't have Gareth Southgate as no.
True. Good evening, Darren. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. Evening all. Need to get busy in the January window if we are going to avoid a relegation battle. Need to get a new coach and let him select the players he wants. I mean, again, this rumour, you've got to love it. There is talks that possibly Sullivan might dig his hand in the pockets and get a couple of players in the window, but I can't see it.
Well, there's rumours that he may sell out in the next couple of years. If that's the case, why would he want to invest a lot of money? And he has done recently. I mean, let's be fair. If he'd have taken the 105 million that we got for Declan Rice and put 70 of that back into the pot, nobody would have complained at that. I don't think.
No.
I really don't think that anybody would have complained at that. But he didn't do it. He threw it all back into the pot.
Yeah.
That doesn't scream of a man that's wanting to sell up.
No.
He's not winding down like you would expect. Unless, of course, it's a very clever ploy and he wants the club in the best position he can do so that he can. And if he's going to do that, then James is right. He's got to go top drawer for a manager.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
I think you're what you're saying there. I think he if he's going to sell up, he will try and get the best price possible. So by doing that, you have to go down that route. And if not,
you have to speculate to accumulate.
Accumulate, that's the word. That is the word. Big up to our good old friend Anfield Uncle Rods.
Good evening, Uncle Rods. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, and obviously he must be loving it at the moment because Liverpool are doing so well on that. And guys, if you haven't seen Anfield Uncle Rods channel, please go over there, give him a bit of a love, and share and like and subscribe.
It looks like Arna has slotted into place lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Oh dear, man, I just fell into that one as well. But Jesus Christ, that's just bad as got. Tim is saying I'd rather take Herbies than Southgate, and I'd rather get back my ex than take Moyes back. Yeah, absolutely.
I think we all feel that way, mate.
Where's Kieran? Bring him on. Yeah, we could have done. I suppose we could have done if he's still around. There's Ethan Usual. He's asking, has Budgie applied to MasterChef?
I haven't, Usual. I don't need to, mate. I don't need to. I haven't got an ego.
Colin's saying, gents, we are strongly interested in striker Yuri Alberto, proper goal scorer. They feel that he might get the best out of Kilhermy. Alberto already scored 28 goals.
Yeah, that's in the Brazilian league, I believe. Palmeiras, is it? I'm not sure if it's. I can't remember the name of the club now, but I have heard about Yuri Alberto, and actually, Colin, he would be a good shout, and you're probably right. He probably would be able to assist Guilherme with his settling in period, if you like, but then he would be settling in himself. So, it'd be like the blind leading the blind a little bit, which is where Lucas Paqueta comes in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know did you see the Ironcast interview or hear the Ironcast interview with Emerson Palmieri the other day, a couple of days back?
Someone said to me, have you seen it? I said, no, I haven't yet, but I've been looking it up and I've
really
got to watch
interesting, Tony. And, even though he, as we know, he's kind of joined at the hip with Paqueta.
Yeah.
But when he was asked, who is the best player in the club, in training and that, without any hesitation, he said Mo Kudus. And he's joined at the hip with Paqueta. You would think that he would be, a little bit more loyal to his friend, but no. Mo Kudus. Who's the strongest player in training? Mo Kudus. Who's the trickiest? Mo Kudus. I think, who's the toughest to get the ball off? Mo Kudus.
Wow.
I think he answered Kudus to most of those kinds of questions.
Says it all, then, really. That says it all.
Yeah.
Peter's saying players look like they have lost the game when they get off the coach.
They do, don't they? Yeah.
I think it's just a case of me. I don't think they want to play for him. Early doors are not Fuzz 44 Britain. West Ham are shy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
Lawrence is saying, Chef Fever, can you make me some chicken wings? We can whack something together.
Mate, that is the chef right there, Mr. Lawrence Watkins.
Oh, mate, yeah, I know. He's mentioned a few things he cooks.
The grill chef of grill chefs, mate. He don't just like, we're going to have a barbecue up for a couple of sausages and a few burgers, maybe a steak or two on it. Oh, no. No, mate, the geezer will have moose steaks and fucking, swan fillets and all sorts on there, mate. Honest to God.
Bless him. Usually saying, what in universe credit is going to happen Monday night? Yeah, we don't want to reminisce on that one. I think we're going to be in for a bit of a tough old game there.
Yeah.
Peter's added on there, both the Newcastle and Arsenal games are where we should go two up top at least. Absolutely, I totally agree on that. To make them something to think about instead of sitting back and accepting defeat from the start. It's a great shout.
Yeah, Peter, that's absolutely right. But you tell me a manager in the Premier League with the balls, other than Thomas Frank, You show me another manager in the Premier League who's got the balls to go up against one of the top teams with 2 up front. Thomas Frank is the only one I reckon would do it. Because Thomas Frank is possibly one of the best managers out there for going balls out. Who gives a shit what does happen?
Yeah,
let's have a go.
True. Like I said to you, mate, I'd have Thomas Frank at us in an heartbeat.
To be fair, it was you that kind of got my head turned on looking at him a bit more. I already knew a little bit about him, of course, but I've had another proper look at him, and you know, like sometimes I like watching the YouTube highlights and that, and I actually do keep my eye out for the Brentford games anyway.
Yeah,
I had a nephew that played for him, but he's always animated, and you know. But the thing is, he's really, really positive to his players.
absolutely.
You know, you never see him shouting anyone down. Someone's had a really tough, bad game for him, and he subs them off. First thing he does, he puts his arm around them, you know, and he stops them from just walking down the tunnel because he wants to give them a moment of his time. I think he's a great coach.
Yeah, I like the interaction he has with the fans as well. You know, he makes them your 12th man at home, and I think that's really important. Really important.
Yeah, and apparently, from what I hear, he gives his time to, you know, some of the fan channels as well. I'm not saying that he would come and sit on camera with them, but, you know, he'll let them come and interview him kind of thing and ask him questions.
Decent,
you know?
Decent, that's what you want. Colin saying, guys, I can tell you now, Loppy has upset players and upset other people within the club. Are we surprised?
No, not at all. Not
Colin
at
wants
all.
I think we all want something there, that's for sure.
Yeah, no.
Peter's asking, any chance of a snowstorm in Newcastle so the game's called off? Well, funny enough, apparently we are going to be expecting Storm Bert. That's the next one.
Storm Bert?
Storm Bert, they call it. Snow, sleet, the works. Maybe Monday. We can hope and pray.
Yep.
Uncle Roger's saying, why not play Kudus out wide and Paqueta as a 10?
Kudus out wide and Paqueta as a 10. But where would you play Bowen then? Because Kudus isn't good out wide on the left.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, Uncle Rog, because that is, you know, if you're playing Kudus on the right, then then Paqueta would be your natural choice for a number 10. Have them two players next to each other. Unbelievably good. But who would you play on the left? I mean, for me, it's Somerville. And would you play Bowen up top? Because I don't think he does particularly well up top. I think
Kudus there. Yeah, Kudus. Put him up there.
Well, that's another option, you know. Him and Paqueta playing off of each other. I mean, providing they do, you know, it could be very similar to the way Palmier, Emerson and Kudus can play off each other. They kind of instinctively know. Oh, 3-1. Sorry, Peter. My bad. Yeah.
Thanks for correcting us.
I got all excited. Didn't I?
Yeah, look, Lawrence is saying, yeah, Somerville should own the left wing. Should do, but it's this manager we're talking about, isn't it? Ethan, to be careful what you wish for. I hope you keep him well. Hi to you as well. Thanks for coming in. Anthony saying, Budgie, dressed up as the milk tray man, all because Sullivan loved milk tray.
This is my ninja outfit, just in case my daughter phones up and says her boyfriend's been horrible to her. I've got that ninja gear.
Going and finish him off. Usually asking, Budgie, any chance of you doing a cook along with Fanny Craddock at all?
God's sake. Usually I kind of forget that he's of a similar age group to me. Fanny Craddock. My God.
Drawing the eyebrows. Yeah. Gents, I've just heard in a text from a friend that Brendan Rodgers, I've heard this one as well, could be high on the list. Not sure about that. Why would he leave Celtic? Yeah, because they're in Europe. Why would he want to leave that setup?
And, you know, to be fair, Brendan Rodgers is Scottish, isn't he?
So,
why would he want to leave his home where he's doing so well in Champions League, etc., etc.? Listen, I'd like Brendan Rodgers. I trust him. He's a good manager, but I can't see it.
Usual asking the question: who's first out the door? Mo Kudos. Maybe you never know. It could be in that order. Him, Rodriguez, but I think it'd be more Rodriguez.
I would hope not. Usual. I wouldn't put my money on it, but I would hope not. And I think if Lopetegui's still here in January, yes, I think Mo Kudos may have to go.
Yeah, because I think he don't want to play for him, does he? That's for sure.
No.
Rob's saying, need the Chinese striker, win one soon. Howard saying 1-3, Granny Dings, Brace and Jimmy. That'd be brilliant.
That would be good.
Yeah, Budgie said, Colin said in the interview, Palmieri done, and what he said about Kudos, Yuri Alberto Corinthians.
Yeah, Corinthians, not Palmieri. Yeah, Corinthians.
Yeah, Howard saying Brentford used the same algorithm as Brighton. Will Thomas Frank be another Potter? Ooh, I don't know.
That is a good shout, Howard, actually. But I really don't believe he will, because I think Thomas Frank endears himself to the supporters, the fans, more than Graham Potter does. Don't get me wrong, Graham Potter was loved by the Brighton fans because he was an ex-player.
Yeah.
And, you know, there were a number of reasons why Graham Potter was successful to a degree with Brighton. Why he brought up, you know, their standard of play and everything else. Yes, the algorithm was a huge part of that. But him being an ex-Brighton man himself, I mean, he went straight from the playing staff to the coaching staff there. There was no interim period. He was already doing his coaching badges and stuff while he was still playing for them. And he went straight into the job, if I remember rightly. So, yeah, but I just think Thomas Frank would endear himself to us lot a lot quicker and more genuinely.
Thing is, he's got a good relationship at Brentford, and would he want to have that step up? I mean, that's I think it depends how ambitious he is, though. But unfortunately, we're talking about our chairman, aren't we? So would he have the same relationship?
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, if our chairman was just a little bit more ballsy, then, you know, like, I think that the club, as it is, would be able to make a very attractive offer to a manager like Thomas Frank. But with the laughing gnome in the background, mate, we don't stand half a chance.
No, that's our biggest problem, isn't it? Yeah. Mum's Flossie saying that Snow won't get the game called off. We're used to it. Small miracles for us.
There's 50,000 bloody Geordies that will go up there with shovels to make sure the game goes on. That's their bloody, you know, that's their cathedral, that is, mate. You know, we say we're going to church, or we used to at Bowling, at Upton Park. You know, that used to be our church, but for them, like, it's a cathedral.
Oh, mate.
And trust me, I know my daughters both live up there. And, you know, both of their partners are strict Toon fans, you know. I mean, like, you know, all the baby grows are black and white stripes and all that sort of stuff. Seriously.
You can't defeat the knock there, can you? You know, but it's great.
My son-in-law wouldn't buy a cat because it weren't black and white striped.
They're spray cans. You can always spray it black and white.
The daughter got it anyway.
Oh, brilliant. Good evening, Des. Hope you're well. Good to see you in here. Hope we beat Newcastle, but I think we've got no chance. Yeah, I think we're all in that kind of that frame of mind, I think, at the moment. Take that for be called off. Brendan Rodgers is actually Irish, Budgie. Yeah, but they're all alluding to look Irish. Okay. Yeah, Uncle's saying it. No, he's from Northern Ireland.
Okay.
Terence is saying it annoys me when players don't play for the manager. They should be playing for the shirt. the money they get, and they forget the shirt, the club, the supporters. Wish we could dock money. It's something we alluded to the other day, really, because we always say it's a manager that cops it, and the players get away with a buy every single time.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if the club or David Moyes, for argument's sake, if he'd have publicly come out and said, look, Declan Rice, I mean, this is complete, like pie in the sky story, as it were, example. But say Declan Rice just wasn't cutting it for 3 months, right? His performances were poor. He weren't getting goals. He weren't assisting. He weren't getting the tackles in. He was picking up a few yellow cards, etc. If David Moyes had turned around and said to him, right, Declan, you've got 3 games to turn your performances around or I'm going to drop you permanently, then you can more or less guarantee Declan Rice would have been the world beater he is the very next game. And same goes for many other players. I mean, like Lucas Paqueta, if you were to give him that ultimatum, listen, Lucas, turn it on between now and Christmas or come January, you're going to Saudi Arabia. We're selling you to Saudi Arabia. Lucas Paqueta would be a world beater the very next game. I guarantee it. This is what I'm saying. Coaches like Lopetegui don't give me the impression that they would be willing to even consider that kind of an ultimatum with a player.
Yeah.
It's, like I know it's harsh, but when you've got a player with such potential who isn't bringing any of that potential out in games, or rarely does, there's got to be something that switches him back on. There has to be. So you've got to try all avenues,
I think it comes in with a different manager, isn't it? I mean, with a different style of approach. I mean, the one for me, you mentioned obviously Arne Slot. I mean, look at Darwin Núñez.
Mate, what a player
Exactly. I mean, but you look previously with Klopp, he couldn't get a song out of him. But Slot's found something, and it makes a difference.
Klopp is one of these kinds of managers, and there are 2 parts to this. Klopp is one of those kind of managers, similarly to Pep Guardiola, similarly to, and this is going to shock everybody, similarly to David Moyes, and similarly to Ange Postecoglou, where they have a core set of players they like to use, and I believe Klopp fitted in with that club. He had a core set of players that he'd like to use. And when even though he might have selected the players to bring in, he's bringing them in case player A is unavailable for whatever reason, or if his performances drop, then I've got player B here that will come in and take your place. This is what I'm kind of saying. Tough love.
Yeah, agree on that.
Tough love. Like Antonio. Look at him, how he stepped up the minute Scamacca was bought. 4 goals in 3 games after Scamacca was signed. Antonio.
Shows, doesn't it?
What he can do. It's the tough love as well as, the motivation of I could lose my place here. It doesn't even have to be said because it's being said in the loudest possible terms. Here's your replacement. He's a lot younger. And, people in Germany have been raving over him.
Colin's saying his team would be 1-4-4-2, Areola, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, Emerson, Somerville on the left, Alvarez, Souček, Bowen. He's obviously put Kudus in, but as we know, he's not going to be up there, and Gilherme out front.
Yeah,
it's not a bad shout.
As the squad stands, I think that's what he means. Yeah,
great comment, Lawrence, as well. Yeah, big proponent of players playing for the shirt and the fans.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a rare thing with certain people.
Yeah, I mean, you look back in history. I really only can speak for West Ham. I mean, I could name certain players from other clubs, but you know, going back in our time, I suppose most recently Arnautovic.
Yes.
When he had the crowd behind him and everything else, he was absolutely unplayable for the other team. You know, he was the first man you wanted on the team sheet when the crowd were behind him and everything else. You know, I mean, Payet, Di Canio, and funnily enough, Alan Devonshire loved to play the game and was great. But when the crowd was singing his name, it was like he had feathers on his boots.
Yeah, it's true.
Like he could fly. Devonshire was so good when the crowd was singing his name. You could see a massive, massive lift in him. And, you know, certain players get that, you know. I mean, you look at Pablo Fornals. When we used to sing the song about him, or any of the songs about him, you know, he would acknowledge it. He would turn to the crowd and acknowledge it, you know. Lucas Paqueta, he kind of does when we sing his song, you know. Jared Bowen always does. You know, if we can get that kind of feeling back into them players, we're going to be able to see much better performances and therefore better results and hopefully a better league position. But it does take the 13th man to do it.
Absolutely.
You know, and we've got to take some responsibility for it as fans.
Of course.
And, you know, to be fair, most of the fans that get to the home games and all of the fans that go to the away games are always up for it. We have got a good set of fans.
Just want to say goodbye to Rob. Thanks for coming in. Another great chat, gents. Catch you next time. Thanks, mate. Thanks for being in. Thanks for being in. I think the problem with what you're just saying there, though, Budget, it comes down to the manager also being engaging with the fans because, you know, you want to see that. I mean, you're saying about some great names. I mean, I'll never forget, you know, when we was back in the old division with Millwall and we was 3-1 up. And this is when we first had McCloskey. So, of course, his English wasn't great. And, of course, we're chanting his name and that Ludo was to score on that. And, of course, he's big, massive man. He turns around, he puts out that free kind of thing, like, you know,
yeah. And that's what you want. And, you know, like when Vlasic scored his one and only goal for us, the Cathedral on the Hill, see? Told you. When Vlasic scored that one and only goal he got for us, the first thing he did was ran to the fans behind the goal, give them the hammers and everything else. And he knew what that meant to them.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. And again, another player that was really poorly treated by the club and the coach at the time.
Yeah.
And a waste of money for the club as well.
Yeah, you know? I mean, it's a shame because I think we expected a lot more from that player. Did we actually get the chance to see it?
Not very often.
No, not at all. I mean, going back on that comment Mama said there, I remember coming, you know, because my old workplace, we had a branch in Tyne and Weir, and coming around, I can't remember what the name of the road was, but there's a bit when you come around the bend and they're in the distance, you see St James's Park, and it was quite ironic at that point coming around the bend, and then like because it was quite cloudy that day. As soon as you come around the bend, it just seemed like, you know, him upstairs said, "Right, let's just move the clouds out of the way."
Yeah,
and this beam of light just shone, and it just
have a look at this cathedral.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, you know, having the butchers at that one. Impressive stadium, impressive.
Yeah.
We could have a 3-2-1 formation with Ted Rogers. Yeah, but usual. Can you do the old hands? That's the thing, isn't it?
3-2-1. Well, no, it was 3. No, 3-2-1. Yeah, that's it. I could never do it as quick as he could. Good old Ted Rogers with Dusty Bin.
Dusty Bin, yeah, bloody hell. Was that Budgie smoke alarm?
No, I ain't got. Well, I have got smoke alarms, but I've got carrier bags over them.
Actually, the other day, mate, you might have sorted his bloody thing out.
Not in the back.
Paqueta's a good player, but his head's not with it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, he has got a lot on his mind at the moment. What with those charges against him.
What the Premier League's doing, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and and with that also, I mean, look, we generally only hear from West Ham fans, and because of you, Tony, we do get to hear the views, or I get to hear the views of supporters from other clubs, the likes of Mama Flossie and Anthony and Fuzzy and Wolfie and Uncle Rods and all of these great people that I've met because of viewing your channel and being a part of some of your shows. So I do get to hear, and I think that the general consensus that I get from all of the people that I do talk to is that there's a big sort of like surprised, like how are West Ham doing so badly? We were expecting with that window, the change of manager, the kind of players that we've got. I think a lot of them were thinking, mate, these guys are going to be challenging for Europe all season.
Yeah, agree on that.
Not a bloody sight of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we was all bought into that, weren't we? In the summertime, we see these players coming in.
Yeah.
Some would think, okay, that's a decent signing.
I think my original thought for the season at the close of the window was, right, we could challenge for Europe, but I'd be happy if we solid top 10.
Yeah.
It's a transition year. I didn't realise quite how badly it was going to come out.
No, I think I'm agreeing with that as well. I think with what we're coming in, you could say that Sullivan's intent was getting back into Europe because of the money he outlaid. That's fair enough.
Mm.
But then you've got to get the right person in charge, and if he's picked him, then obviously the buck stops with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we was all bought into that dream of it's looking good for us. And like you said early on in the show, we brought all these players in, but really, it wasn't the dream we all thought it was going to be.
Yeah. The kind of manager I'd love to bring in. I don't know if you know anything about him, Tony, but his name's Mark White. He's Dorking Wanderers, manager and owner. Now, he isn't going to come to West Ham, but a guy with an attitude like him, and if you don't know him, he's the sort of guy that stands up in his changing room at half-time when they're 2-0 down or something, and he will throw fucks and everything into all these players. He will literally drag one player out into the hallway, scream him down, send him back in, pat him on the arse and go, come on, sit down, son. You know what I mean? He's a proper case.
Old school stuff.
I think if a club were to have a manager with that kind of attitude, I think you'd see a massive change in the way the players approach the games.
Well, look at Malcolm Allison now. He used to deal with his team.
Yeah, him. Yeah.
You know, when you look at that,
guys was a bit of a no-nonsense sort of guy.
Yeah. But I like to go back to Malcolm Allison. What I liked about him was he got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
If the players the crap players are doing bad, you'll big them up all the time. Well done, you're doing really well. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
The ones that obviously were above their station, kind of thing, and that you need to do more, sunshine. And that,
he was. I think he was respectfully feared by his players.
Definitely agree on that.
Massive respect for him, but don't get on the wrong side and don't do the bad shit.
No.
I mean, like I just said, even Sam Allardyce was a no-nonsense sort of manager, but he was also quite easy to have the wool pulled over his eyes. You hear some of the stories from the ex-players, when the likes of Russ have interviewed them and that.
Yeah.
They say, they broke out of the hotel, climbed down the fire escape or whatever the case may be, to go and watch John Moncur doing a strip down the high street or whatever, because that was a mental sort of shit he would do. But also on that point, he would go, all right, lads, okay, you've had your fun. Come on, let's get back to work now. Whereas, Malcolm Allison, There weren't no pulling no wool over his eyes.
Oh no, and obviously
Or
the late.
Cloppy,
I was just about to say that. Just going to come out and say he's the late great Clough.
Yeah, and also, I have to say I have got massive respect for Sir Alex Ferguson. I think he is the yardstick that every manager should be measured by.
Yeah,
not just because of the successes he had,
but the standards
that he kept. And that's why it's important that I think we get Mark Noble closer to the team than what he is.
Yeah, because he's got that kind of thing in that. I agree on that.
West Ham standards, mate. He wrote them in stone. They were already laid out for him, and he, believed in them so highly. He wrote them in stone.
Yeah,
he would sweep up the bloody dressing rooms and stuff and things like that. I mean that's common, information. Everybody knows about that. But Mark Noble would do other stuff as well. He would. Mark Noble was the one that selected the players that would go on the hospital ward visits and things like that. It was Mark Noble that selected what players went. He thought, it'd be good for him to know a little bit about our local history and this and that. And it was Mark Noble that did all of that. We ain't got a captain that has that kind of local knowledge anymore.
No,
don't get me wrong. I love Jared Bowen as a player, but as a captain, I'm not sold on that idea yet.
For me, it should have been Kilman all day long. No,
Or if you really wanted to have somebody that kind of would carry on some of the noble stroke, original DNA of the club, Thomas Souček. I mean, I know that maybe he's not going to be playing every single game, but the club captain doesn't have to. Mark Noble proved that.
Yeah. If you can be motivational on and off the pitch, that's all that counts.
When they see you, tying up your boots and pulling your shirt on, even if it is, with your substitute's jacket over the top or whatever the case may be, if you're that kind of character that can motivate and drive people and even put a little bit of fear into them at times when needed, I think Thomas Souček would have been a reasonable choice for that.
Yeah, true. Evening, Mandy. Good to see you in here. Who is the missing link that connects Payet and Arnie?
Oh, good point. Good shout. Well, is this a trick question? Because I've got a personal choice on that. For me, it would have been Robert Snodgrass. Weirdly.
Yeah, because it took a while for him to settle in, but when he did,
he was immense.
He bought into the West Ham way.
Yeah, he did, and he was immense for us. I thought,
yeah,
and like very underrated by a lot of West Ham fans.
Yeah, I agree on that.
But even now, he still looks at West Ham's results and stuff like that.
Nice, nice. Anthony's saying, you lads on about Tony's favourite West Ham player of all time, Marco Boogers. What a legend. What a legend.
Flipping it on Marco Boogers.
Took Gary Neville out, I think that's probably the best thing we could watch about that side of things. But I was actually at that game, Budge. I actually see him. You can see the red mist in his eyes as he's one as he launched himself in the air and come down at him. It's like, what the hell is this? But I thought it's would you say he was an old school nonsense player that kind of got stuck in? Because he definitely did. He got stuck in, all right. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah,
he got stuck in on Neville's ankle.
Yeah. I mean, there are still a handful of what I would call old school type players around. Okay. Danny Ings is an old school type striker for me.
Yeah.
Craig Dawson, an old school type defender.
Yeah.
Max Kilman is an old school type defender also. He don't mind sticking his foot in where it's needed, but he's very clever not to do it in the box. So I would say Max Kilman's a educated old school player.
Yeah, true.
Alvarez, I mean, the amount of yellow cards he's had and reds just goes to show you that he is the sort of player that I would absolutely love. Back in the 70s and 80s, Tone, mate, we would have been carrying that man from the stadium to the car park on a fucking sedan chair, wouldn't we?
True. It's true, yeah, because they're the players you do.
Look at Julian Dix. I mean, that geezer used to play helicopters with like wingers. He would spin them in the air.
Yeah.
And just by standing in front of them, and things like that. But we loved that. And he was the sort of player that we would have carried up and down Green Street all week.
100%.
You know what I mean? We love a player that gets stuck in. We always have.
True. That's just asking the question. Do you think David Sullivan and Karen Brady should go?
Yeah.
Should do. But hindsight, as they say. But, yes, definitely it's time for them to move on. Don't get me wrong. They've rightly or wrongly given us some achievement. But when your time is up. And
you see, now, for me, I wouldn't want to see David Sullivan and Karen Brady completely disappear off the face of the earth. I would like to see them go and invest in a club like, let's just say, for argument's sake, Sutton United, or Dagenham and Redbridge, or Chelmsford FC, or someone like that. I would like to see them go and sit themselves down in there where their outlay is going to be minimal compared to Premier League, and just see what they can do with a smaller club. Not necessarily expect them to get into the Premier League, although it's not beyond the realms of possibility, but just so that they can benefit from the organisation, because although we don't agree with it, it would work for a smaller club with less finances, less prima donna players, less demands on wages, etc., etc. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And I would like them to move on and do something like that, and then for us to get, say, for example, I don't know. Really. I mean, we've got Kretinsky, who doesn't interfere with anything to do with running the club. So I'd like to keep him on board. I really would.
What I'd like to see from him, sorry to interrupt, man. I think for Kretinsky, what I'd like to see more than anything else, obviously he wants to buy the post office. He's still trying to get himself into that. But if that all went Pete's on, then let's see what your metal is. Can you put your worth into the club? You're the second main shareholder. If you ain't going to get the post office, then buy into us. Do something at least. Show what you actually want. What's your intention?
Yeah, sort of. If he wanted to remain with this type of shareholder that he is already, why not invite one of your business partners maybe or somebody who you've done business with that is very successful and loved the game. And to me, that wouldn't have to be an Englishman. Wouldn't have to be anybody from Europe even. Do you know what I mean? It could be, all I care, it could be Japanese, Singapore, Vietnamese, for all I care, as long as their intention is to make West Ham great, whatever it takes. I'm
agree on that.
I'm good with that.
Thanks, Lawrence. I like this chat. Good chat, Budgie. This is a good channel that brings other people from different teams together to discuss football. They understand who the European champions are as well. We know who we are. Absolutely.
You know what we are? Champions of Europe.
Tony and Budgie, Devonshire, one of my heroes, met him and the rest of the 1980 FA Cup squad in my local pub in Canning Town. The night was laid by landlord, also in 1975 FA Cup squad, got all the autographs. Oh, mate.
Fantastic stuff, Colin.
Brilliant. 25 likes, 34 people in the house. Smash the likes and you can get a free West Ham kit. Thanks, Lords.
Have I liked it? Yeah, I have. I've got it on there, up there. I've liked it. So, yeah. Actually, let's give it another like. I can change my...
Yeah, we've got 40 watching us at the moment, so appreciate those people in the chat watching us. Who's your best West Ham player? Ooh.
Oh. Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'll do then. I'm going to eliminate Bobby Moore. Jeff Hurst. No. I'm just going to eliminate Bobby Moore because he would be my obvious choice. For me, Bobby Moore is the epitome of a professional footballer, on and off the pitch. Okay? So he would be my best player in the world in that respect, you know. But I'm actually going to say my favourite player from history up till present day, and there are millions of great players, is Martin Peters. Actually, I've watched that man play many times in the flesh.
Yeah. And
people say that Bob Moore had a great footballing brain, and the likes of Vieira and people like that had great footballing brains. For me, Martin Peters, not only did he have a good footballing brain, but he had a cold-hearted attacker, killer instinct about him. And I'm not talking about in tackle or anything like that. I'm talking about if he could see that white frame, you can more or less guarantee he was either having a go at it or he was laying it on to someone else that could.
Natural goal scoring ability.
Yeah, and an outright attacker.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then when things weren't going so well and we were doing a bit of defending, he was there too. So a little bit kind of, I don't know, like if you could mix Jared Bowen and Wan-Bissaka into one person, I think that would be Martin Peters for me, you know. And you know, Martin Peters is a player that if they said to me, you can go back in history and watch any game you want, as long as Martin Peters is on the pitch, I don't give a shit what game it is.
I mean, it's a great shout. I mean, you know, there's quite a few players to go with. But for me, Dixie, I mean, love him for that kind of just that raw, natural terrier brutality side of things. And that, I mean, I've witnessed it. I see him do it when he came back from Liverpool, and he took one of our youth players out. And you said about helicopters. He definitely sent this kid into one of them. But I suppose hands on hand, the Canio brought into the club. And even to this day, I think he'll live, breathe, and die the claret and blue.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, I respect that decision wholeheartedly, and you know, but for me, you know, I would put both of them in my all-time 11.
Oh, right, that's a different.
Sorry, that's a bit of a spoiler. Sorry, Russ.
How do you think we do at Newcastle? Not good, Des. I don't think we're going to do good up there.
Yeah, Tony, we should throw out an invitation. Mama Flossie, why don't you come on here next Wednesday? Thursday.
Yeah, next Thursday. Yeah, Mama, if you're up for that, let us know. Darren's saying,
we promise not to be horrid to you, even if you did beat us. We promise.
She would beat the crap out of us, Budgie. We weren't about
You know that.
Darren's totally agreeing with the Kilman for the captain's shout. And Matt's saying Sullivan and Brady won't go unless the club has new owners. Yeah, true. Lawrence is saying 2-1 Hammers and for Peach 4-1.
Brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, Lawrence. Anthony saying, lads, question, why did you let James Ward-Prowse go out on loan to Forest? That was a weird one.
I'll throw that question back at you, Anthony, mate. I ain't got an answer to it, mate. We brought him in with all that promise. Okay, so he didn't break the record in that one season that he did play for us, but he did score from a fucking corner.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people can do that. I know Pablo Fornals has done it once as well. For us. But yeah, no, that is a weird one because
I think we was all surprised by that, weren't we? Really?
I think we could use him right now.
Definitely.
With the way our midfield is performing at the moment.
Yeah, I think we was all surprised by that one when it suddenly announced that he's off to Forest. But at the same point, you could understand why.
Mm.
But it's still
what made it even weirder was that he went to Forest and Maxwell Cornet went to Southampton.
Yes, true. Yeah, so someone's got the wrong deal here, that's for sure. Good evening.
Hello, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Southampton here. Can we have James Ward-Prowse back on loan? No, but you can have Max Cornet. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, that's the shiftiness of Sullivan, basically. Isn't
You know that.
Good evening, Jez. Evening, Tony Budgie in the chat. Good evening to yourself, mate.
Good evening, Jez. How are you, me old mucker?
If any of you get the chance to again, please go and watch Arsenal history and more. Great channel Jez has got. So give him a like.
Even more fun when Jez gets into one of his rants.
Well, I know him and yet he's going to do a watch along. So you imagine that one. Him and yet he's going to do a watch along the Arsenal Forest game. So you imagine what that's going to be like.
Be like the 5th of November all over again.
Mandy's saying Lanzini. She loved the Manzini.
Listen, Lanzini played for the shirt. You can't ask for no more than that.
Terence is saying, great shout about Ferguson. He made his players play and installed a winning mentality. Definitely. Yeah. They're saying hello to each other. Well, we need the new owners to go forward, Brett. Yeah, we do indeed. There's no two ways about that. Lawrence is asking Ant's question. We believe we had players that could do his job. He struggled in the second half of last season, was on the bench at the end of it. Big up Jess Tractor. He did indeed, Colin. Yes. Yeah, he had a nervous breakdown and ended living up in the caravan of Canvey Island, by all accounts.
Yeah, it's a shame because, as poor a player as we believe that he might have been, Russ ensures me that he was a really nice guy.
I see him in an interview once and that he did come across like that. So it makes you wonder if he ended up like he did the club actually support him?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Knowing Sullivan and co, as we do.
Anthony, bloody hell. I know she's your owner, Karen Brady, but would you? Absolutely, Mama.
Many times.
Yeah. Don't be tight, hit the like. That's a great say, Mum. I love that.
Yeah. And it costs you nothing to hit the like button. Costs you nothing to subscribe to the channel. And if you like what you see, you should see what Tony has lined up for you during the week. Come on, Tony. Tell them what you do.
Yeah, so obviously yesterday we had the good, the bad, and the ugly with Anthony and Hot Fuzz. That was a good show last night. We did very well with that one, where obviously West Ham, Arsenal, and Man United talk about their clubs. Budgie's actually hosted for me on that show as well, so he's had his part in there. Yeah. And of course, Sundays, as usual, it's the Sunday night takeaway where we have a variety of people coming on where we just talk about the weekend of football and any a good old chinwag, really, in that round. A nice relaxed atmosphere. No arguing with each other, really.
Absolutely. And make sure that if you are going to watch the Sunday takeaway, make sure that you've been to the toilet before the show starts, because you will piss yourself laughing. All right? It is hilarious. Every week, every single week, I almost wet myself laughing. Whether I'm only watching or partaking, it's hilarious.
Thanks, mate. They're saying is, how far do you think West Ham can go this season?
Well, we're going to Newcastle on Monday. We've got to go to Liverpool later in the season. Oh, you mean? Oh, seriously? Oh, gosh. I don't know. I think 14 would be fair. Yeah, 14th, I think.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'll go with that as well. Thanks,
Well,
Lawrence. After run all your legends, Tony or post my score prediction. Thank you much. Come on your eyes as well, mate. Yeah, Matt, I know you would. Colin's saying, well, guys, you might get your wish in the new year. Been told strong possibility that takeover will happen in the new year by my friend in the city. What they're hearing again. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. Well, he's now got past that threshold where he's got to pay a huge tax bill when he sells. So he's gone past that threshold now. So the tax bill isn't going to be so hefty.
Yeah.
So it could happen within the next year or two. Definitely.
Going back on the players, Daz is saying Bobby Moore. Good evening to Tim at the back. 9 in attack. That's a great one. Brooking stayed loyal, 100% legend. Yeah, definitely.
I agree with that. Trevor Brooking, brilliant player. He would have been my second choice if I'm honest.
Club source of the night takeover is imminent. Where they're going to, aren't they? They're not going to announce that because where we're up in the air at the moment, I don't think they want to kind of let it out too much.
Yeah.
Sullivan ain't leaving anytime soon. You're probably right there, mate. Anthony saying Dix, Bristol lad. My mum used to babysit Gillian Dix. Yeah, let's remember that.
Oh, why?
Yeah, that's right, Anthony. West Ham versus Arsenal next week. Mumba's going to come on for the chat. That'd be brilliant. Brilliant.
Oh, that'd be great. Brilliant. Thanks, Mama.
That'd be brilliant.
Appreciate that.
Debenham Dave. Good evening, mate. The World Cup 3, a little before my time, but Brooking closely followed by Devonshire, my favourites. Well, that's great.
Great shout, Dave.
Yeah. Colin saying Budgie Peters, wonderful player. Bonzo, that's great shout as well.
Yeah.
Another hero of mine, one who gave all his blood as well as for the club. Yeah,
true. He did. There's that famous picture of him, isn't there, with that bandage round his head when he's just been bandaged up to go back on.
Yeah.
John Roll saying to him, right, get out there, Bonzo, and sort it out, for God's sake, man.
That's how they made a different stuff then, isn't it? That's for sure.
How can you let somebody injure you like that? But one of the nicest men off the pitch, though. Didn't get involved in arguments and
very quiet man, I must admit. Yeah. There's Jez's channel there for if any guys want to see over there. Does a lot of history for Arsenal, some great content that he does. Daz is asking, what do you think of David Sullivan?
I don't think it's broadcastable what I think of him.
Let me get the swear box out now, mate. Be like Morse code trying to do.
It would be like that, actually.
Love the takeaway. Thanks, Mummy. We do enjoy doing that one. Wait, happy Emirate. Oh my God, are you still on? Of course we are.
We're still on.
We was waiting for you to come on, Happy. That's what it was all about.
Yeah. Hello.
They say hello to each other.
They're all saying hello to her. Look, she's popular tonight. Got to have chocolate. She must have chocolate with her.
James is saying, I've seen the West Ham for sale sign being banded around. Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I've got to, now I've seen that comment from him. Where is it now? I've got to do it. Where is it? Just to remind Jez, because obviously he's saying here, Brooking ruined me at Wembley with that header. Never got over it.
I know, and do you know something? I've been kind of keeping my eye on Jez and his channel for probably the best part of the last year.
Yeah.
You know, that is a common line that Jez has said regularly throughout that time that I've caught up with him and watched him on your channel and this and that. It actually traumatized him. Actually traumatized him. Well, Jez, I'm sorry, mate. All I can say is that, you know, it was unusual for him to score with his head in the first place. The fact that it came off the back of his head,
yes, true.
in Goldwood, was an absolute miracle. I think the gods were with us that day.
Take that shit
brilliant.
down.
Yeah, love that. Got to love that.
It's brilliant, mate. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So next week, then, we're going to obviously have a little review of what happened on Monday night. You'll do that on your Wednesday show as well, no doubt. But we'll also have Mama there, Mama Flossie, who's going to also give us a Newcastle perspective on it, which will be lovely. And hopefully it'll push the subscriber count through to 1,000. You know,
it'd be nice, mate. David Day saying the iconic white 1980s Cup winner's shirt. 100. Yeah, it was a good. That was a good top. Yeah. Abby Emmerich saying I've heard today that Antonio has apparently been offered to Galatasaray.
Oh,
wonder who we're planning to get and getting in then.
Oh, I know. Full crew could be back happy. That's all right. We're sorted.
I never seen Trevor Brooking live, but was he a good player?
He actually was one of the kind of players that was totally reliable when he was in, when he was in a team. Totally reliable, meaning that you kind of knew what you would get from him. But he also had that, I would call that kudos foot syndrome, where sometimes it looks like he's being a little bit clumsy, but he would come out of the other side with the ball. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And Brooking had a little habit of doing that regularly. And I would look at it and go, oh, great, he's got the ball still. Oh, my God. Do you know what I mean? He had this habit of being able to do that. And when you needed a target man, he was good for that too.
Because he was more like a more midfielder, wasn't he, than anything else?
Midfielder.
And you wouldn't think it, for the goals he scored, but it was great. But as you said,
I wouldn't mind
right place at the right time, isn't it? The right place at the right time.
I wouldn't mind betting that the number 10 position has got something to do with the way he played. I wouldn't mind betting that, whoever created this iconic 10, what a 10 would do, I wouldn't mind betting that they've looked at Brooking and gone, we want a bit of that in there. We want a bit of that in there. We want a bit of this in there. Do you know what I mean? Because Trevor Brooking was an extremely good attacking midfielder. That's what he was at heart, fully. And yeah, he was great to watch. And he was always one of the first to turn to the crowd and applaud them.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Never seen him not do it.
So we on that, Budge, would you say that was down to Greenwood, Lyle?
What, the applauding the
no, like getting like that 10 role and that, would you say that as down to
I would say it's Greenwood, because he started doing it with Jeff Hurst.
Yeah.
During the later part of the 60s, 68, 69. He started doing that with Jeff Hurst. He started moulding him into a 10 rather than an outright striker. I suppose with Jeff Hurst, it was more like the false 9.
Yeah.
If you would look at today's, tactics, it was more like a false 9, whereas Brooking was an outright 10. you know. But then, you know, Brooking was quite comfortable out on the left wing. He was quite comfortable out on the right wing.
Yeah, yeah.
He was quite comfortable in his own box defending. Yeah, he was an all-round, probably one of the greatest players that West Ham have had in that respect. As an all-rounder, Brooking was probably one of them. Yeah.
True.
And such a lovely guy too, you know. Took on the interim manager's job, which could easily have ruined his legacy at West Ham, but it didn't. It kind of strengthened it more. But yeah, Trevor Brooking, mate. I mean, when you talk about true club legend, and that word does get thrown around a heck of a lot, but he is a true club legend.
Yeah.
As is Bobby Moore, as is Jeff Hurst. I think.
Well, just look at them three players there in the pit behind me. You know, when you look at them, Budge, them three there alone.
Alone, yeah. Billy Bonds, another club legend. You know, I think even senior, Frank Lampard Senior.
Yeah.
You would put him in that legendary status, or if not, you would put him in cult hero status for definite. You know. So yeah, I think Trevor Brooking epitomises West Ham way, the West Ham way.
Yeah,
and it's not a style of football at all.
No.
It's an attitude and an approach to the game, and the professionalism within that. You know.
No, I agree on that. Definitely. I mean, like you hear headers, Lampard diving header against Everton, Ellen Road, pure joy.
Absolutely, and both of his feet were level with his shoulders when he hit that.
True, yeah. He's perfect Keegan in the England team. Congratulations, Tony, getting the 650 subs from the one and only creator Worsler and our budgie. Yeah, all right, mate. Great player, great man, Trevor Brooking. Yeah, and also had a very successful binding business.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Jesse's saying he's dug out all my FA Cup programs to do a show. Them, of course, that game is the ones to show the program. Nice. That'd be a good one to see there, Jess. Look forward to that one.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Kabos born a sixpence. I was there when he scored 2 goals for England against Hungary. Lovely gentleman.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, Colin. Nice. Even at the Stew Not Stew. I hope you will. Had the pleasure of bumping into Sir Trevor on the tube. He stopped and let me have a picture. Ledge and gentleman. See?
Yeah.
Integrity straight away there.
I actually saw him one time in the market down Green Street.
Oh, Queen's Market, yeah.
Queen's Market, yeah. I'll see him in there one time. I think it was a Thursday or something. I'll see him in there. And as he was walking past this greengrocer's, stall.
Yeah.
I think he must have known the guy who ran it, or he must have, and he's thrown an apple in the air and gone, "On your head, Trev." And he catches it and he goes, "No, I don't do that." Took a bite out of the apple and carried on walking. It was brilliant. Completely natural. It was like it was his next door neighbour walking up the street, kind of thing, you know. He just threw the apple in the air. "On your head, Trev."
Brilliant.
That's the only story I've got on Trevor Brooking. The only one. I mean, I've got loads being in the crowd with the rest of of my age, but a personal one that was brilliant.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good story there. I mean, Brooking was 2-footed, left or right, pure delight. And Frank Lampard Senior, cult hero.
Yeah, I'd go along with that, mate. I did say that either that or legendary, but
remember right? Was it when he scored the goal in that, and it was dancing around the corner flag? Wasn't it?
Flag. Yeah, and then Frank Junior did it, didn't he? As a tribute to his dad.
That's right. Yeah.
When he scored for us one time.
Oh, Deborah and Dave saying there, Trevor signed his autobiography book at W.H. Smith's in Holborn. Lovely fella.
Great. Brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right, mate.
Actually, Tom, we could do that, you know, on this show once in a while. Do a highlight on an old player or something, you know.
Oh, definitely, mate. Definitely. Yeah. I mean,
We'll put a few slides and whatnot together, and we can do it half an hour
Yeah.
on one player, couldn't we?
that's a great shout. We'll have a look at doing that.
Minimum of half an hour.
3 hours and 45 minutes later. Yeah, he's still a great player.
Yeah. I wish he could still wear the boots now.
Yeah, that's for sure, mate.
Yeah.
So right, as we're yeah, here she goes. Can we talk about Lanzini? Look.
Of course we can. Of course we can. We have done already tonight, love.
The question here, though, Happy Emirate, is do you want him to be the first one, or do you want to wait further down the line and then we talk about Lanzini? Otherwise, if we talk about Lanzini, he's done and dusted, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. But in fairness, we could talk about Andy Carroll, and Lanzini's got to have a mention because he was pretty prolific when Lanzini was putting the ball over to him.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about Payet and how Lanzini was taken under his wing and became a much better. So Lanzini will probably get name dropped on quite a few of them.
I mean, yeah, because obviously we could talk about when players came in. When you think when we've signed certain players, we always kind of bring them in pairs. So when you think about it, you know, we've said about Anatovic, Payet.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got Mascherano, Tevez.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you've got Ian Bishop, Trevor Morley.
Yeah.
So we look at things like that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we can talk about this, Tony. We can do some really good features actually between us, I reckon.
Yeah, look forward to them.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to say was that, you know, without a little bit of interaction from the viewers, it won't go very far or for very long.
No,
because
it's right.
Bonnie and I have got our kind of lists.
Yeah,
and you know, so you know, feel free in the comments section. You know, Tony and I will both read all the comments from the shows.
of course. I mean, when you think last week when we joked like, welcome to the West Ham review. Yeah, West Ham are shit. See you next week. Take care. It was going to be the case of that, but it did really well for itself. And so, you know,
we're doing over 2 hours, 15 minutes, mate. So
I know it just shows you where it could go, can't it? You know.
Yeah.
That's asking the question. What's your best West Ham game?
Oh, that's really difficult. Okay. There's one that gets a real honourable mention because it helped me to fall back in love with my club. And there's one that was just pure adrenaline from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed. So, and believe it or not, they're both at the London Stadium. I mean, listen, I could list a dozen games that I love from the bowling, a dozen of them. But for games that have made me, as a mature man, feel something really special happening at this club, both of them have happened at the London Stadium. And one of them was immediately after the COVID thing. We played Crystal Palace. We drew 2-2. Conor Gallagher scored both the goals for Palace. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
That was my first ever game at the London Stadium. And that game made me fall back in love with the club. And I had the pleasure of being met by Happy Emirate at the station and taken to the Carpenters. The first time I'd met her as well. And that was special, I have to be honest. I was very nervous about travelling on public transport because a friend of mine, his son got killed on the train a couple of years previously.
Wow.
So I was quite nervous. I don't like crowds particularly anymore. But being in amongst 50,000 other like-minded people doesn't bother me anymore. So that game there, that has got a special place in my heart because obviously, as I said, I met one of my best ever friends for the first time, and it made me fall back in love with the club. And the second one was the Lyon game at the London Stadium during the first Europa League campaign. That game there, I felt so energised. I mean, from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed that night. And you know something? I have got a funny feeling, and if she's still in the chat, she can correct me. I got a funny feeling I actually went back with Happy Amoret to hers that night, and we went out and had a beer on the way home, was I think that was that night. But anyway,
Right.
I do remember that it was a special, special night.
Mm.
And the whole day, I was just,
Yeah.
Hartson and Dixon, what a
Hartson
brilliant duo. And
That
you know what? My eldest daughter, her surname is now Kitson. She's married into the Kitson family.
The Kitson family, really, blimey. Yeah. For me, I mean, there's quite a few games, but I think what kind of made me realise what it is to be a West Ham fan. I can't remember the year in it because my memory is sometimes really bad. Is it the FA Cup when we went to Villa Park playing Forest? Didn't turn out the way we wanted it to be. I was literally 20 feet away from seeing Keith Hackett send off Tony Gow for an innocuous challenge that was never a sending off. But even though we were 4-0 down, the fact that we were still chanting Billy Bond's Clout and Blue Army and basically droning out the Forest fans.
Yeah.
That feeling is, you can't describe that sometimes to someone. They don't understand that side of things.
I mean, there was a game at Upton Park that I went to. It was West Ham Chelsea. We beat them 2-1. I think it was 1977, 76, 77. 76, I think it was. It was the hottest summer in history. So it was 76. 76 into 77, I think it was. But anyway, we played Chelsea at home. I'm fairly sure it was a 2-0 or 1-0 win. But what I remember most about it was that the intimidation that was being pushed around from one set of supporters to the other.
Yeah.
The chicken run was shaking. And the Chelsea fans were trying to get into, oh, mate, it was hilarious. But the game itself was like, it was, Chopper Harris was still playing. And, likes of Alan Hudson and them, they were still playing in the 70s. So, yeah, it must have been 76. And, mate, honestly, there was some incredible tackles going on that day. I don't think I saw one booking in the whole game. Not one.
What a difference! What a difference!
And I did get to see one of the longest ever recorded throw-ins that day as well.
Wow!
Ian Hutchinson, Chelsea player.
Oh yeah, he had a fucking immense throw, didn't he?
3 yards in from the halfway line and throws it onto the penalty spot. His arms were going like helicopters for about 2 hours afterwards, but he put it on the penalty spot. And I remember Peter Osgood getting hold of that ball and turning on it. And I believe it was, Bonds, actually, got his foot on the ball and stopped Osgood from doing anything. I think it was Bonds. But anyway, what a throw that was. That's the longest recorded throw-in at that point.
Wow.
And I haven't heard of one longer. But there may be, like Rory Delap. He used to throw a good throw, didn't he?
He had a good throw, didn't he? Yeah, I remember that. He had a throw. Yeah, good throw.
And Sue Brown. Ain't got a bad throw on him.
No, that's true. That's true. 10 minutes at the back saying here, Alan Taylor, still only player, 2 goals, quarter final, semi final, and final for all the amazing strikers. Only Alan. Yeah.
And Alan Taylor was a cult hero, definitely.
True.
Definitely.
I mean, you mentioned the chicken run, so not the kind of chicken run with made it a concrete steps. I'm talking about the old chicken run with the wooden steps. When players got kind of kicked off the pitch into the chicken run, they knew they was going to be in for a toy time because literally they were beating the shit out of before they got back onto the pitch.
Yeah. And even the West Ham players, like you see some of the interviews with Russ and other people, and they say, I had my back up against like the hoardings against the chicken run to take a throw in, and I was always worried that they were going to grab me shirt or pull me over the hoardings or whatever. Like you get all of those stories because the passion that ran through that section of supporters was really intense. And it was like a tinderbox in that chicken run.
I think the majority of them was old dockers, weren't they? So I mean, they weren't exactly skinny minis.
No,
They were fagging,
cycled with, mate.
So yeah.
And that's probably one of the reasons why Millwall and West Ham have always had that.
Yeah, they're
clashing. Two different docks that they represented.
That's right.
Were in competition with each other to repair and build ships.
Yeah, true.
They were ship builders, not just dockers.
No, there's a lot of things then, weren't there?
Yeah.
True. Dad's asking the question, what do you think of Harry Redknapp?
Love him. His initials actually should be G-O-D.
That's brilliant. Mine was when we beat West Ham 4-0 at Highbury, went 4-0 up at half time. Overmars got an hat trick. Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah.
See, I did. I went back to Happy's after that.
You did. Beating Villa 1-0 quarter final at Upton Park. Ray Stewart penalty, but we outplayed them throughout the game.
Yeah.
Mama saying nothing like chatting about old games.
There isn't, Mama. And, just to add to that, my first ever game at Upton Park, 1966, Newcastle, in November, Newcastle at Upton Park. And we were in amongst, because my mum and dad knew nothing about football. They just got tickets for the game, but it was in the away end. So we were in amongst all the Geordies, and they knew we were West Ham supporters, and they loved us. They treated us with respect. They, passed me and my brother down to the front, and then made way for my mum and dad to get down there. They sat us on that wall. You remember the wall with the little rail that used to run along the top of it? In the away end?
Yeah.
Mum, I was sat on there with my legs through the rail. And I can't remember who it was, but one of the Newcastle players, he came over to come and get the ball for a corner or something. I'm right down near the corner, and he came over and he patted me on the shoulder and went, "All right, boy." He must have thought I was a Newcastle fan. I was emotional. And then at half time, the stewards had got to hear that we were West Ham, and they asked us if we wanted to move round to the West Ham stand. And my mum and dad went, absolutely not. We're being treated like VIPs here. No, we don't, They brought my mum down a cup of tea and everything they did.
Oh, lovely. Yeah,
mate, they were brilliant. They were brilliant. I mean, I don't remember it all because I was 4. But, the stories that my mum and dad have told me, and that's why I've always said that if I had a Northern team, it would be Newcastle. For that reason.
Yeah.
Because I've now got 2 daughters to live up there. So,
nice.
Never going to be bloody Arsenal or Bristol. Go on.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you've had a good Christmas. Tony and Budgie still live from 6 weeks ago. The show started.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. What do you think the score will be at Newcastle? I think we both said about 2-1 for us.
Newcastle. 2-1 or 2-0 to Newcastle.
Jesse's thrown the gauntlet out to us, Budgie. Look, 30th West Ham United away. Bring it on.
Wow.
Throwing the gauntlet.
Yeah.
I hope we get a chance to see West Ham live one day in my lifetime, one way or another. I know you're all over in Kent, aren't you, Matt? So I think 4-1 Newcastle, but I hope it'll be 4-1 West Ham. It'd be nice.
Just the same, Matt. If it's because you're unable to get tickets, contact me.
There you
Green
go.
Street .elite, which is ELETES. Or actually, just find me on Facebook, Budgie Green Street. Contact me. I will put you in touch with people that can get you a ticket.
Lovely.
If that's with you. If it's
Nice.
anything else, maybe I could help you, but I'll get you to a game, mate. Honestly,
Brilliant.
Matt, I would get you to a game. You know,
That shows you, yeah.
and
Anthony
even if you're a disabled person, I'll put you on my bloody shoulders and carry you there. I would.
Nice.
Everybody has to go and watch one game. Everybody.
Totally agree on that. Anthony's mum used to watch West Ham from the flats behind Upton Park, Priory Road, where the old bus station used to be.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, we visited family. Yeah, so he lives in Kent, as I said. Daz, who do you think will score for us? I can't see us scoring unless we get a dodgy penalty. We never get them. We never get them at all. Okay. Yeah, Matt saying thanks, Budgie. Appreciate it. No, that's what we're all about, and it, looking after and supporting each other.
Just contact me, Matt. Honestly, if you're on Facebook, yeah, contact me. Or Instagram, Dax the Ripper 3.
Nice.
All one word. Dax the Ripper 3.
So 2 hours and 31 minutes. Been a good show, mate. And
enjoy it.
If you'd like to shout out what your channel is and if what you've got coming up as well.
Thank you very much.
While you do that, let's just read this one, Budgie. I do like Harry Redknapp, but never liked it when he went behind Bonds back to Chairman Brown. Brown even paid Redknapp £500,000 loyalty bonus. Dodgy for me. Yeah, because I know when he was brought in at West Ham, I was there at the time and you could tell straight away that his feet was under the door because everyone literally referred to him as H. So that just seemed that he was too comfortable straight away, and that was even just being there 5 minutes. And there's Budgie's channel. So yeah, sorry, mate, if you'd like to shut yourself out.
Thank you very much, Tony, and thank you, Mama, as always, right on cue. Yeah, so it's Green Street Elites on YouTube. That's my channel. I forgot to stream this to it, silly boy. But from next week, this will be available on, obviously, on Early Doors Football TV. Give it a like and a subscribe, and also on Green Street Elites. Give that a like and a subscribe too. But yes, so I'm on Green Street Elites. That's my channel. I will be getting other people in. Tony, I'll talk to you afterwards about something.
Yep.
And also, you'll find me on a Tuesday night on the Bowling Lounge with Jeff, aka Rani Bubble. You'll find me on a Wednesday night on West Ham Network, 10 o'clock every week. Sometimes we might go a little half an hour earlier or half an hour later, depending on life. But 10 o'clock it is usually. Myself and the Wizard of Oz, Kieran. Yeah, my old mucker. Yeah, we just get up to shenanigans, talk shit and get away with it, And then obviously Thursday nights, the regular slot as it is becoming, here on the West Ham Review. So please don't forget, subscribe to the channel and see you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. And yeah, thanks for coming in, Debbie and Dave. Thanks, guys. Enjoyed it. Coming your irons, absolutely. We're all for that one.
Sorry, thanks to everybody in the chat.
Absolutely,
everybody comments. It's been great. We can't do half of this without you. So, just keep being you and we'll keep being us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, we get again. Come on, West Ham. Absolutely, Daz. Be nice. We could do that. Mama's putting on the link for Jeff's channel, the Bowling Lounge.
Thank you, Mama.
Jeff's also getting up there with the numbers as well, which is great. And obviously, you've got Gates's channel, the West Ham Massive.
No. Oh, yeah, that's Gatesy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're saying there. And Colin's saying, Tony and Budgie, been a good show. Thoroughly enjoyed it as always. Take care and good night, lovely gentlemen. Good night to you as well, Colin. Thanks for being in.
Colin.
And Mama says, thanks, chat.
Thanks, buddy.
And yeah, we are basically, so before anything else than that,
Yeah.
Come on, you
Just
Irons.
for future reference, Mum, it's West Ham Network, not West
Yes,
Ham.
yeah, we've mentioned that before. So,
But you're beautiful. You do this every show. So thank you very much, darling. Been a pleasure to be on, Tony. Thank you again.
you're welcome, mate.
Maybe I'll see you on Sunday night on the takeaway.
Yeah, that should be good.
If I can't make that, it will definitely be Thursday night again.
Brilliant.
For the review. And yeah, we'll try and do half an hour talking about people.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me in that. So yeah, enjoy your weekend. We know we're not going to lose on the weekend, so that's one good thing. But Monday night, let's see what happens from there.
I mean, in some respects, it's good that it's on Monday night because you've already had a shit day because you've had to go back to work after the weekend. So Monday, unless you're travelling up there, which is a pain in the butt. What's my favourite West Ham shirt? Well, actually, the one that Tony's got on now is what I would call a classic design shirt. Okay, that is this season's. I take it.
Yes,
it is. I have that also up there.
Yeah.
So the classic claret body, blue sleeves, and I do love the blue and claret collar and cuffs. I think that looks lovely. So that, but hang on, let me just show you which badge I would choose to have on there, though.
For people in the chat, you can see there, Mum has put up the link for the West Ham Network, which is where Budgie and Kieran are on Wednesday nights from 10 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Brilliant. So this is probably my ideal shirt. Okay. And this is from the last game at the Bowling, if I can get it right.
Yeah, that's it there. Look at that.
And I bought this in honour of this man.
Oh, brilliant.
And uncanny that his favourite number was 33. And for about 2 years after I bought this shirt, my favourite player at the club was Emerson, 33.
33, yeah. We're the lads. Absolutely, Mama. Absolutely, how away the lads.
And stay safe and stay warm, everybody, especially those of you that are getting snow now.
Yeah, we're not going to be losing on the weekend, Dave, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But thanks for hanging around with us, and we appreciate the support from the chat. It's been great and engaging. Absolutely. And we're out.
And we've got guests next week.
Sounds good to me. Take care for now. Enjoy your weekend. Ta-da.